but also inspire change. And we know that the students at R.M. Bailey Senior High School, and indeed other students throughout the Bahamas, are bursting with tremendous talent. It is this talent and energy and creative thinking that we seek to harness in bringing awareness to road safety. Research has shown that music is an effective channel to reach people from all walks of life. It is truly a universal language that trans barriers. In fact, music has been able to inspire action on important causes and drive political change. And so, we at the Ministry of Energy and Transport, the Road Transport Department, recognizing the power of music, are so delighted to unveil our nation's first ever road safety music jingle. The road safety music jingle, Watch the Road, written by music teacher Ms. Renee Clark and students Lanique Mills, Chauncey Wright, and Destiny Tutilian, is upbeat, attention-grabbing, and catchy, an excellent representation of our musical culture. It is my hope that the road safety music jingle is not just only played on our radio and television stations, but also in corporate spaces to encourage all road users to be careful on our streets.
I'm Carissa Williamson, and this has been Your Government in Action, a proud presentation of Bahamas Information Services. Join us on Tuesday evenings where we bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.
After 66 steps, I'm Matea Cunningham. This is ZNS.
It's What's Trending with Jimenita Swain and the Bahama Beauty at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. From Studio A. It all starts right now.
Hello and welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, March 25th, and you're tuned into the ultimate destination for all things lifestyle, entertainment, and everything in between. I'm Jimenita Swain, and you're watching What's Trending, the show where we bring you the latest trends, hottest news, and insider tips on living your best life. Whether you're here for fashion, food, fitness, or the latest buzz from social media, we've got you covered. Let's dive in. It's a chilling thought. Grandparents suspected of murder, but that's the shocking reality in a case involving a French toddler who went missing nearly 2 years ago. Prosecutors have now arrested the toddler's grandparents on suspicion of his murder. 2-year-old Emile Solé vanished from his grandparents' garden near the French Alps in July 2023. His remains were discovered 9 months later by a hiker near a village in a stunning twist that not only have the grandparents been arrested, but 2 of their adult children have also been taken into custody as well. This case is unfolding in ways no one could have anticipated. Well, a Japanese man who spent nearly 50 years on death row before being acquitted will now receive compensation of 217 million yen, or approximately $1.45 million. His lawyers say this marks the country's largest ever payout in a criminal case. 89-year-old Aiwa Hakamoto was convicted in 1968 for the murders of his boss's wife, and their 2 children. However, after a retrial last year, he was acquitted. His attorneys argued that the mental toll of his wrongful conviction was a key factor in securing the highest possible compensation. And plans are in full swing for the highly anticipated 6th annual Elevation Awards, an event that celebrates Bahamian excellence. This year, the spotlight will shine on one of the country's most influential musical pioneers, Gino D. The legendary artist will be honored with the prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award, recognizing his remarkable 30-year career that has shaped the sound of Bahamian music and inspired countless generations of artists. We at What's Trending want to say congratulations to Gino D on all of his achievements over the years. Well, we have a jam-packed show for you today. In studio to discuss the drive behind his basketball success, Whitfield Ching Jr. Also, want to know your perfect scent? The Perfume Bar has all the answers. This and so much more right after the break. You're watching What's Trending.
To grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources recently gave Exuma residents gifts that are set to boost food production: a new tractor, a marine patrol vessel, along with a number of agricultural products. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Jomo Campbell says officials were thrilled to present the donations.
Farming is not just a way of life. It is a vital part of our economy and food security. We recognize the challenges that our farmers face, from land preparation to improving crop yields. And so, this new tractor is a direct investment in your success. It will assist with land clearing, plowing, and overall maintenance, making your work more efficient and productive. Our goal is to ensure that agriculture remains a viable and profitable industry for the people of Exuma.
Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for Exuma Chester Cooper says he was happy to see that children on the island are encouraged to become farmers.
Farming hasn't always been a desirable field to go in. Today, however, we've advanced, and we have advanced significantly. I applaud the Minister and his team for ensuring that we are infusing technology into the advancement of agriculture and making it more desirable for our young people.
During the trip to Exuma, ministry officials also donated agricultural supplies to Ellen Coakley High School, along with 20 scholarships to the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Kendia Smith.
Bahamians are making waves across the globe, whether they're shaking up industries, breaking barriers, or spreading that signature Bahamian warmth. These island innovators are proving that the Bahamas is more than a paradise. It's a launch pad for global greatness. Grab your shades and hold on tight, because we're heading into the competitive courts of California. This young Bahamian is proving that talent knows no boundaries as the rising star in the world of basketball. This athlete is making waves in one of the most intense basketball environments in the world. In studio is Whitfield Ching to open up about the challenges of adjusting to a new culture, the drive behind his success, and how his Bahamian roots continue to fuel his journey on the court. Welcome to What's Trending, Whitfield.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great to see you. So let's start with the basics. What inspired you to pick up a basketball? Was there a specific moment or person that motivated you to pursue the sport?
It was actually my brother. He was a high school basketball player, and I would always be like his little brother, just following him around like his little shadow. I would just always watch him practice, and then I even had a growth spurt, and I decided, okay, well, maybe after all these years of just watching him practice, maybe it's my turn to just show him what I had after watching him. And that's what led me to picking up basketball.
You love it? I mean,
I love it. It's my passion. That's all I dream about. That's all I think about doing, and that's all I love. That's all I dream and think about.
eat, drink, sleep, basketball.
Basketball.
Well, as a young Bahamian talent, how has your background and upbringing in the Bahamas influenced your approach to the game?
I feel like it always taught me to never be satisfied, to always remember where I came from, and to always be a hard worker. Never let anyone outwork me, and just always be a competitor when I play basketball.
Sounds like some good advice there. So moving from the Bahamas to France, then to California must have been a transition. So what was the biggest culture shock for you, both on and off the court?
Really and truly, I feel like for both countries, it was really the food. In France, it would always be a different kind of vibe, whether it be a different city you go to or just even different people you encounter. You always learn different nationalities. They would always introduce you to what they eat or their culture. And I feel like even being with California, it was just, you would always hear about the fires on TV. I was thankful to God I wasn't in the fires, but I was also there to see the smoke and to see, like, even though the people were worried about it, it wasn't close to me. Like, just seeing the different stuff that you would always see on the TV and in my own eyes, it was a good experience. I mean, I'm thankful for the opportunity that I have to go to both countries and to say that I played in both countries. So it played out well for me. I enjoyed visiting both countries, and I enjoy being in California currently.
That's nice. So it's known that European basketball is different from in America. So how did your start in Europe shape your technique?
I feel like my time in Europe really built my fundamental side of basketball, whether it be from simple stuff where most people are not used to seeing it. It was always a normal thing in Europe, and it was also way more systematic than America. And it also taught me to be a smarter player. Like, I always learned to open up for teammates, how to find my teammates, or like, it was also really, it taught me a lot of different stuff being in Europe.
And what position do you play on the court?
I'm a forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're getting close, up close.
Definitely, of course.
So what has been the most challenging part of adjusting to this higher level of competition you're now experiencing?
I feel like the intensity definitely picked up. It's a more physical game. I play against really high-level, well-known, nationally ranked players, so it builds me up as a person, it builds my character, but it also helps me build as a basketball player.
And what's your training routine like? How do you balance your academics with basketball and life in California?
Currently I'm in the off season right now, so I have way more time to train. I would normally go 5 to 6 days a week, 2 times a day, whether it consists of weightlifting first and then on the court, individual skill training. And then in terms of academics, I go to school every day. I devote my early morning hours before I go to the gym. And even after practice, I have time to study and do my assignments and just dedicate my time to academics.
Sounds very well balanced. Yes. Now, basketball, of course, we know can be a roller coaster of emotions, especially the wins and losses. How do you handle it, and how do you use it to grow as a player?
Honestly, I can admit that I'm a sore loser. I hate losing. I mean, you win and you lose in basketball, but I take my losses as ways to get better. I mean, I always watch my games back, watch film to see, okay, what can I do better? How can I be a better player? What can I do in this position or this situation? So I take wins and losses as always time to learn how to get better as an individual.
And has there been a moment or a game that really stood out to you since you've been playing basketball at a high level, something that made you proud or that you were just truly, you really stood out to you?
Definitely. It was when I played an exhibition match against the Chinese national team. I had the opportunity to showcase my talents against them, and I was the leading scorer and stats leader, so I was proud about that performance.
That sounds awesome. So what's the best piece of advice you've received from a coach, a teammate, a mentor that you carry with you both on and off the court?
It's really 2 forms of inspiration I got. It was really it's never how you start, it's always how you finish. I always relate to that because you may start a game bad, you may miss shots, but you have 4 quarters to finish your game. You have 4 quarters to make up for how you started. So I'd always say like that always stuck with me. And then the second one is always focus on every little detail. There's always a part of your game that isn't really the best. So I feel like focusing on details in terms of your weaknesses was always my key. I would always focus on my weaknesses and not worry much about my strengths.
And what were some of your weaknesses that you found yourself improving upon?
Definitely guarding positions 1 through 5, whether it be the smallest players or the biggest player. I always try to make myself more versatile, especially because of my height and my speed. So I always try to use that and relate to basketball.
What advice would you give to other younger athletes who aspire to follow in your footsteps and want to pursue their dreams internationally?
Never give up, never feel satisfied, don't ever feel like you did enough, always want more for yourself, never feel like you should be as good as someone, always want to be better than someone else, and just always be hungry.
Well, we wish you all of the success, both in your academics and in your basketball.
Thank you very much.
Future.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Well, on the other side of the break, the Perfume Bar is willing to assist you in finding your perfect scent. Stay with us.
For over half a century, we've been more than just an airline. We've been a bridge, connecting families, dreams, and memories across the islands and beyond. Behind every seat sold and every journey planned, there's a dedicated team committed to making air travel affordable and accessible to everyone. At Bahamas Air, we're not just building connections, we're building a safe and dependable airline where quality service is paramount and an excellent travel experience is our priority. Wherever you're going, we're here to take you there with care, with heart, and with the promise of unforgettable journeys. We are family, and just like family, we're committed to taking care of our own. Your Bahamas Air is our Bahamas Air, because here at Bahamas Air, we don't just fly here, we live here.
Diet-friendly special.
Get ready to unleash your inner perfume connoisseur with the Perfume Bar. We are diving into the world of fragrances where every scent has a story, and we're here to help you find the one that speaks to you. From the art of mixing notes to the secrets behind your signature scent, it's time to sniff, swoon, and discover the magic in every bottle. Here to tell us more about what the Perfume Bar has to offer is Senior Sales Associate Peyton Bodie. Welcome back to What's Trending, Peyton.
Hi, good day.
Now, Peyton, tell us, we know you have, tell us what are your personal fragrances here that are universal scents that people can enjoy at any particular time?
Well, scents I would say.
Now, I know when you were here before, you talked about the fact that you like vanillas. I also like vanillas. Is that something that's like a trendy smell that people like, or it just depends on the season?
Depends on what you like, not really the season, but what really works with you.
So you definitely just have to smell it, eh?
Yes.
All right, so if someone's new to the world of perfume, what's the first thing they should consider when they are picking out a scent? Should they come and tell you, well, I like this, so you're gonna show them, say if they like oranges, for example, will you show them citrus type scents, or would you just say, would you present your options to them? How would that work?
Well, I would present what they ask for first. For the oranges, which comes under citrus, I would display all of the citrus scents. then I'll move on. If they are looking for a recommendation for something else out of their comfort zone, then I would recommend what I would personally wear.
Okay, well, that's the plan. So what's the difference between eau de toilette or eau de parfum and a parfum, and why should we care?
Well, for the eau de toilette and eau de parfum, well, I would say that a toilet is just as great as the parfum in a sense, but depends on the scent. Because just how our Kenzo here has the male scent in toilet, it's just as strong as the parfum on the Kenzo. So in my preference, it doesn't matter if it's a toilet or a parfum.
Okay, nice. That's interesting. So I see that you brought some fragrances here for us. Let's start with the Flower by Kenzo Absolute. I recognize this bottle as a classic, but tell us about the notes in it.
Well, the notes in it, it's mainly made by the poppy flower, saffron, a little bit of the vanilla like we spoke about earlier,
okay,
and many more ingredients for like a person who loves a vanilla scent.
Okay, well, let's smell it and see what it's all about.
Well, let's start off with our Le Absolute by Kenzo for her, as you can see.
Awesome.
Well, look at the bottle. It's a clear glass bottle with a demonstration of his poppy flower, and it's a floral scent, I must say, which includes a lot of ingredients, I must say. It may look like a small bottle.
So it packs a punch.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm not going to feel overpowered.
No, ma'am.
All right, let's see what it's all about.
Well, this has been, from I came to the perfume bar, this has been one of my favorite scents also.
Really?
For somebody who would love let's say a soft scent.
This is nice, and we know that Kenzo is one of those brands that has been around for a long time, so
yes,
it doesn't mean that they are expanding on what they're offering, but this is a really nice and light smell. I do smell the vanilla in it, so this is definitely something that I would wear or that I would try. So, of course, we can't leave the guys out. So tell us a little bit about the notes in this version and what we're going to smell when you test it for us.
Well, with the Kenzo for men, from the bottle shape, it's the color of royal blue. The bottle shape defines it all because it has a cantu shape. You know, what you call it? How you say it? It has the shape of, when they cut a cane.
Yes.
From, like, with the pandas,
The bamboo.
Yes,
so it's similar to the bamboo shape.
It was right there.
All right, this is nice.
Yes.
So it's a clear distinction between the feminine product and the male product.
Yes, ma'am. And almost has the same shape bottle, but it's way different in the sense.
Okay. So what is the most surprising ingredient you've ever used in a fragrance, and what did it do to bring out the scent? Because, these days people mix in all kinds of things together. You mix in your body sprays, you mix in your lotions, you want to maximize that smell. So what would you say is the most surprising ingredient that you've come across that people have been putting together?
Well, the saffron. The saffron from our Eau de Parfum, from our Absolute, from our Kenzo, has been a very big surprise to me because it stands out more, overpowering the vanilla inside of the Absolute.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's get to the male fragrance and what you think are, well, as you set us up to smell it, talk about some of the more popular notes in perfumes right now, and why do you think they're, trending?
They're trending because, I must say, most people don't expect. They just believe all of the fragrances have almost the same notes and they have the same thing, and no.
Yeah, people think they're going to get the same thing when they pick up a bottle of cologne. But I see earlier we had another segment with the perfume bar, and they had the different lines from Wildgoose.
Yes, ma'am.
And obviously you were showing us today with Kenzo with so many options.
Yes, ma'am.
And obviously they're not going to smell the same.
Of course not.
Wow.
Like, for instance, Kenzo, for him, the homemade, that has a fresh scent, I must say. This is one of our intense scents from Kenzo.
So this is for the right man.
Yes, ma'am. It has a fresh scent.
Oh, this is nice.
The gentleman would like to go to, I must say, like say he wants to go on a date and he don't want to overpower the whole building.
You don't want everybody sneezing.
Yes. You don't want to bother nobody's sinus.
All right.
Yes.
This is nice. And remind me of the notes again. You said that's in this one?
It has a, what you call it? It has a fresh scent. It has...
So it's like, it's very crisp in terms of the smell that it offers. It's not too much, because you know some colognes, you smell them and it's like, oh my God, this is too much. I've gotten an instant headache. But it's like nice and light and distinctive. Like this is a manly smell.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So Peyton, remind our viewers of your locations and your times of operations.
Well, I'm located at the Mall of Marathon. Our time frames are from 10 to 6 to 11:30 to 7:30. So you could also catch our fragrances inside of a showcase in the middle booth, and also one across from Body Beautiful. It's 2 booths. We're also combined, not 2 different stores, but the same store, just with the same scents.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Peyton, and be sure to go to any of the Perfume Bar locations to find your signature fragrance. There's so much more after the break. You're watching What's Trending.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
Hello, fellow breakfast lovers and brunch enthusiasts. Today is no ordinary day. It's International Waffle Day. Yes, that's right, a whole day dedicated to the glorious, golden, crispy on the outside, soft on the inside masterpiece that is the waffle. Now, some of you may be wondering, why waffles? Why not pancakes? Dare I say French toast? Well, let me tell you something. Waffles are not just breakfast foods. No, 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 no. Waffles are a lifestyle of freedom and a lifestyle of choice. You see, with waffles, you get to decide what life looks like. Sweet, savory, both. You do you. It's like a little blank canvas, but with more delicious potential. Let's take a moment to appreciate the engineering behind the waffle, with its perfect little pockets so scientifically designed to hold syrup, fruit, or whatever sweet or savory creations you decide to pile in. This waffle isn't just breakfast. It's an experience, a journey, if you will. A crispy exterior, the fluffy interior. It's like a hug just for your taste buds, wrapped in batter and topped with joy. But enough talk. Let's celebrate with some waffle wisdom. If your waffles aren't making you feel like brunch royalty, then you're not doing it right. So whether you're stacking them high with whipped cream or going the savory route with eggs and bacon, remember this: waffles are a metaphor for life. Sometimes life gives you batter, but with waffles, you can always flip it. So this International Waffle Day, let's all take a moment to appreciate this humble breakfast hero. Go ahead, make yourself a waffle or two, or okay, maybe three. Well, here's to the waffle, the unsung champions of the breakfast world. Happy International Waffle Day, everyone. There's more after the break.
If you would like to be a part of What's Trending, DM us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS.
Diet-friendly special.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
You'll learn about a company that's ready to serve the healthcare and manufacturing industries. Well, that's all the time we have for today. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their insights and stories with us. As always, we'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. with more exciting guests, thought-provoking conversations, and a lot of laughs only on the ZNS Network. See you later.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. The Bahamas Trade Mission Chairman shares government's plans to expand trade in Grand Bahama. Abaco Chamber President shares her vision for the chamber. And police in Grand Bahama respond to a video of two men involved in an altercation.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
We're now sort of reinvigorating our desire to push the Freeport Container Port as a transshipment hub for goods.
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Jolanda Thompson-Everest. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping news. As governments worldwide explore strategies to ease economic burdens, the chairman of the Bahamas Trade Mission shares that the government is actively pursuing competition legislation to address the rising cost of living while assuring that Grand Bahama remains a priority with plans for trade expansion, particularly through the Freeport Container Port. The Freeport Container Port, already known for its deep water harbor, is now at the center of the government's strategic plan to establish it as a major hub for global trade. Senator Barry Griffin, chairman of the Bahamas Trade Mission, revealed exciting news with the Ministry for Grand Bahamas a vision, highlighting plans to position the proposed hub as a key player in the transportation of African goods across international markets.
As we know, the Freeport Container Port, it's one of the deep harbor ports, one of the largest in the Western Hemisphere, and we've always had ambitions of using that to its greatest capacity. With all of this trade going on, we're now sort of reinvigorating our desire to push the Freeport Container Port as a transshipment hub for goods.
Additionally, Senator Griffin revealed plans to leverage the hub to strengthen relations with African governments.
So you would see the Honorable Ginger Moxie heavily pushing the Freeport Container Port as a transshipment point for African goods coming to the Caribbean and Latin America. And she also has a new plan and initiative to market the Freeport Container Port to bring goods to the United States.
Griffin adds that while the Trump administration plans to impose hefty fees on ship docking at U.S. ports if they are Chinese-built or owned, the Freeport Container Port could capitalize on this shift. As a key transshipment hub, FCP has the potential to provide a major economic boost to Grand Bahama and the Bahamas as a whole.
The reality is China is the largest shipbuilder in the world now. Many of the ships around the world are in fact Chinese built. So this is going to affect a huge amount of ships, not just those coming to the Bahamas, but those that service the world and even service the United States. So this may be a very good opportunity for Grand Bahama to pitch itself for these Chinese built ships to dock in Grand Bahama, offload products, and then goods can then be shipped to the U.S. in smaller ships or other ships built by, the United States.
Meanwhile, recent staff cuts to a vital U.S. weather service are raising concerns about the impact on the wider region, including the Bahamas, where the agency has provided critical forecasting support. With the hurricane season fast approaching, a local Met official weighs in on whether this should be a major concern for the country. Cleopatra Murphy has the story.
The Bahamas Department of Meteorology is more than capable of functioning on its own, despite the Trump administration's budget cuts at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration that has led to the firing of more than 800 staffers and could see 1,000 more let go, according to the Associated Press.
The Met Service could stand alone without anybody in the region. We are scientists, we are meteorologists. We have other tools, we have other mechanisms to use. Yes, their help was great. But if we lose that arm, I don't think it's going to be long, but because we lose that ability so far, that does not mean we can die.
Senior Met Officer at the Bahamas Department of Meteorology, Trinard Tynes' comments come after Acting Director of Meteorology Jeffrey Simmons recently shared that the department is already being impacted by the cuts, as services like heat advisories previously provided by the National Weather Service have been stopped. While the services were a benefit to the Bahamas, Tynes says the entities have more of a symbiotic relationship than the public realizes, especially during hurricane season.
Any storm that comes through in the Atlantic during hurricane season, it comes through the Bahamas before it gets to them. So they have to check our stuff first before they come up with their stuff as well. They send the plane out, yeah, they have the fancy technology, but the Bahamas have the experience. So they use our experience to know how to do what they have to do when any storms come in this way. So it's not just we lose, they lose as well. Because they lose a good collaboration, because every hurricane season, our people is at those meetings. Little do everybody know. We at those meetings, we sit down, we put in names for the storms and everything like that they vote on.
A major concern has been how the department's hurricane forecasting could be impacted because the Bahamas uses data collected by the National Hurricane Center's reconnaissance aircraft that flies directly into the storms. But Tynes says the department will adapt.
We only lose a few things, but they still writing forecasts that we could see, but we won't be getting the other heavier stuff like the hurricane hunting and all that other stuff. But we still have, we have the European model, we have Japan, we have German models, we worldwide. One person decide that they want to leave and play by themselves, that's fine.
As for the Met Office's preparedness for what is predicted to be an average hurricane season with 15 named storms, Tynes says staff are more than ready. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
While in In Abaco, ZNS News sat down with newly elected Abaco Chamber of Commerce President Chantel Sands to discuss her vision for the chamber, her strategic plans for economic growth, and the key initiatives aimed at tackling pressing challenges facing the island's business community. Chantel Sands, president of the Abaco Chamber of Commerce, is excited to spearhead efforts aimed at advancing the progress of the island of Abaco. A central focus of her leadership is fostering collaboration with entrepreneurs to strengthen relationships while tackling critical issues such as housing and economic security.
We have put out a survey already. You can find it on our website to give us the feedback, what you want the chamber to advocate for you. And in May is our next big initiative where we'll be advertising a professional training day for the business community and their staff, right? And we're pulling in the Tourism Development Center on that day, followed by a job fair.
Stan believes that while much has already been accomplished, there is still significant potential for growth. She emphasizes that expansion is back on track and even more can be achieved moving forward.
See the development that has happened, right? However, the business community is still challenged with further expanding, more businesses coming to the island. Why? Because staffing, there's a shortage, and there's a shortage because there's no housing for people to live in. So there's a huge housing issue here on the island that we would like to work with the Ministry of Housing or a public-private, project to see how we can assist in that regard.
Sands points out that investors are drawn to islands with a well-trained workforce, and the goal is to help businesses enhance and upskill their staff.
Enhance the customer service levels and also enhance their operation as they continue to grow on the island. So there's several things that we want to look at, apart from working with the government entities and assisting them to roll out any new regulations.
A video showing a man assaulting another male has gone viral on social media, sparking widespread attention across the Grand Bahama community. The disturbing footage reportedly depicts a man wielding a knife and causing harm to another. In response to the incident, police issued a wanted poster for 27-year-old Joshua Young. Police have now confirmed that Young is in their custody. Shalia Rule has more on the details of the investigation in this report.
A video showing a violent altercation between men at a business establishment in Grand Bahama has gone viral on social media. The footage reportedly captures a young man attacking another with a sharp object while shouting threats of death. The disturbing video has sparked widespread attention and concern within the social media community. One user commenting, "I applaud this young man for not fighting back, as it takes a lot to hold your composure in situations like this." And another, "This is no laughing matter. I don't care. Even if you're scared, you never show it." Police officials issued a wanted poster for 27-year-old Joshua Jamal Young of 8 Mile Rock in connection with this incident. Press liaison officer for the Northern Bahamas, Stephen Roll, confirmed that Young turned himself in to police on Tuesday morning and is now in custody.
As related to Joshua Young, he turned himself to the police shortly after 8 o'clock this morning, and I can say that he will be spoke to by the officers, and once that is done, he'll be put before the courts sometime this week.
Roll also added that based on the video, a number of charges will be filed and the suspect will be placed before the courts by the end of the week.
On the video that the police receive, there are a number of charges that will be laid against him. I don't want to say much on that now because it's under investigation.
The press liaison officer for the North leaves this message for those looking to indulge in alcohol on a night out.
It's when particularly our young men go to these nightclubs and they consume alcohol beverages, you tend to have this type of behavior. So we are asking them, if they decide to go out, drink responsible. And if you cannot control your alcohol, we advise you to stay at your residence.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Rule.
In news from the crime beat, local police have launched an investigation into a stabbing incident that involved two men, ages 44 and 26 years old, requiring medical attention on Monday, March 24th, 2025. Police were alerted of this incident shortly after 7:00 p.m. when a man presented himself to the Central Police Station with visible injuries, claiming to have been stabbed by a male known to him at his residence on Gordon Avenue.
Still to come.
Mary Star of the Sea celebrates Agriculture Week. That's story, sports, and more when we return.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping, travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Grand Bahama, this is not just another spring fling. It's Dolly Madison's spring sale. Get 25% off store-wide on March 28th and 29th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. It's spring and the perfect time to spruce things up, from bed and bath to even boating supplies. So come on down on March 28th and 29th for the Dolly Madison spring sale with 25% off store-wide. See you there. Dolly Madison.
Celebration Key presents the Lifeguard Swim Test in Freeport. Join the action at the YMCA on March 27th at 9 a.m. Walk-in registrations are welcome. Scan the code to register today and take the first step toward becoming a lifeguard. This Friday and Saturday only, it's a savings event at Do It Center. Get 20% off store-wide, 30% off Valspar paint, and 70% off selected lighting March 28th and 29th. Do It Center, located at number 43 Freeport Industrial Park. This Friday and Saturday only, it's a savings event at Do It Center. Get 20% off store-wide, 30% off Valspar paint, and 70% off selected lighting March 28th and 29th. Do It Center, located at number 43 Freeport Industrial Park. It's a contractor's workshop on March 27th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Susan J. Wallace Center, Columbus Park. The topic is construction site debris management. For registration, contact 350-9166 or email rplacaris@gbpa.com.
It's springtime, and Grand Bahama Tiles is having its biggest spring clearance sale ever. With 20 to 60% off store-wide, there's savings for everybody on everything. They have large stock items on wood look, porcelains, and natural stones. And all clearance stock must go. So, what are you waiting for? Hurry in and catch the spring clearance sale now. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
It's the second annual Turks and Caicos Come Go With Me musical and jazz festival, June 5th through 9th. Book your hotel now at Ports of Call Resort, Turks and Caicos. Daily breakfast included. Short distance from the event. Email now. Reservations at portsofcallresort.com using discount code CONCERT15.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. In celebrating Agriculture Week, Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Academy hosted a public forum where students and visitors were educated about a number of areas in the agriculture field. A panelist of young agriculture professionals shared light on areas such as food sustainability and security, farm-to-table practices, ethical farming, and agriculture education.
We started through junior local government. It was decided that we would lead the program. And we started with donations, namely the soil. Then somebody threw in, Mr. Wright, Robert Wright, threw in the fertilizer, and junior local government had a fundraiser, and we raised the first $100 worth of seeds to start the farming program. But to expand on what the Eco Club was already doing. That led to building more boxes. That led to the clubs all wanted to become involved. And so we had to quickly organize and make sure that we had everything a very organized program. And that's what has brought us here tonight to launch the pilot program.
The panelists included Constantina Hamilton McKenzie from Agriculture Technician Prosperina, Geraldine Kelly, Agricultural Officer from the Ministry of Agriculture, and President and Managing Director of Berkshire Farms, Terrence Roberts III.
Mary Star of the Sea is one of the eco flagship schools here on the island. And as a business, you have to find different ways to get community impact, and we believe in education, community, and the use of technology. So this relationship right now, the plan is to go further, but this is the pilot with Mary Star of the Sea, and so far we're now working on recycling, so repurposing of waste, composting, green spaces, so planting trees, so on and so forth, and they're now about to start incubation program with us with the chickens.
As we aim to achieve food security in the Bahamas, we first have to ensure that our youth are aware of the many careers that agriculture can afford them and the importance of food in agriculture, not just the agricultural quote-unquote aspect of traditional farming, but agriculture as a system, looking from the policy and programming, regulations, food health, food security, looking at simple food testing to ensure that we're getting high-quality, nutritious foods. That's the key reason why I'm here, to ensure that students are aware of the broad range that food and agriculture can award them.
Ruth Nell Technical Institute remains committed to ensuring school-aged children receive a well-rounded technical education. In the coming months, the school will launch a nationwide recognized program designed to equip young learners with the skills needed to enter the workforce confidently upon completion.
This nationally recognized technical certificate program will introduce residents to a number of different areas, including air conditioning, refrigeration, carpentry, cosmetology, electrical installation, electronics, modern diesel technology, heavy equipment operation, plumbing, welding, hospitality, among others, basically.
For aspiring entrepreneurs, Ruth Nell Technical Institute will introduce specialized courses aimed at providing students with a well-rounded education to support their journey into business ownership.
Each participating student will have to take some related studies in workplace communication and ethics, introduction to industry, measurements and safety in the workplace, and also a component we call introduction to business, because some folks, once they have developed their skills, they may want to form their own businesses.
Finally, in news, family and friends of the late Lucas Wildgoose gathering at the Freeport Bible Church to celebrate his life and legacy. The assembly was bittersweet as attendees reflected on how Lucas truly lived up to his name, a bringer of light that will be sorely missed. Shalia Rule has this story.
It was a gathering to celebrate the life of a shining light. Family and friends of Lucas Wildgoose came together to bid farewell to a young soul who brought love, laughter, and light to all he connected with. Draped in shades of green, his family stood in the front row, hands raised in gratitude, thanking God for blessing them with such a special gift. Allegra School of Music, Kavina Murphy expressing her fondest memories of Lucas.
Because of your time invested in him. Lucas knew he was the center of your universe and that he was loved by all of you. That is why Lucas has so much love to give, because of the love that you poured into him.
The sermon was a moment of self-reflection, with scriptures that deeply resonated with Lucas' character.
Because if the scripture holds fast, if it holds true, what young men around read here today, blessed is he that hath a pure heart, they shall see God. And if I ask anyone in here today, if Lucas had a pure heart, come on, how many of us would agree? Come on, somebody.
As the service drew to a close, Lucas's family gathered around his casket, adorned with white and green roses, to say their final goodbyes. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Rule.
Lucas, you will be surely missed. And that does it for our news segment. Jay, what's happening in sports?
Coming up in sports, Julanda Softball Championship Primary School Boys will have those highlights coming up in sports.
Awesome. All right, that's coming your way next. But first, a check on the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Oh, we got all kind of time.
Beautiful.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167, or you can email us at ZNS3news@gmail.com.
It's the second annual Turks and Caicos. Come go with me. Musical and Jazz Festival, June 5th through 9th. Book your airline tickets now with BritishAirways.com, BahamasAir.com, or InterCaribbean.com.
Spring into savings and take advantage of Majestic Retail's Yellow Tag sale. Save up to 20% on smart TVs, tablets, Fire Sticks, mini split AC units, pedestal fans, and so much more. They're located in the bonded area. Call them at 351-3936. A deal is guaranteed at Majestic Retails. The Night Before, a gripping stage production by S.L. Shepard, live at the Regency Theater, March 27th to the 29th at 8 p.m. with a special matinee on March 30th at 5 p.m. Tickets are $30, available at Imagine Graphics, the 17th shop at the Gregory's Fine Foods.
You can lose a lot of money gambling if you're not careful. That's right. Be sure and pay your bills first. Set aside your savings and know exactly how much you can spend and what you could lose. If you win, you win. But if you lose, you lose. Set a budget and stick to it. Please, be safe and only gamble what you can actually afford to lose. This message is brought to you by the Gaming Board for the Bahamas.
It's springtime, and Grand Bahama Tiles is having its biggest spring clearance sale ever. With 20 to 60% off store-wide, there's savings for everybody on everything. They have large stock items on wood look, porcelains, and natural stones. And all clearance stock must go. So, what are you waiting for? Hurry in and catch the spring clearance sale now. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports Top in Sports Primary School Boys Softball Championship game between Freeport Gospel and Walter Parker Pacers. The game came down to the final inning with a runner on third base, and Freeport Gospel delivered with a base hit right on the field to win the title 7-6 in grand fashion. Pitcher Xavier Thompson was named MVP after striking out 7 batters.
It's exciting. My heart was racing on this one. It was a real tight game, back and forth. Just try to keep the guys settled, keep them composed, keep them being able to know what they know and just do what they know to do, you know, and that was the difficult part. But we made some errors and finally got back together and made it happen.
I can hit the ball. I already know how to hit the ball, and I catch the ball, everything. So I feel like I pitch pretty good. We get a lot of good hits, and we get a clutch hit at the end of the game.
Still on the mound scores from Week 7 of Little League Baseball, the Lions defeated the Red Sox 13-12 in 8U action. Now in 10U play, MSC Shippers dominated Riviera and Associates Lions 14-1. Moving up to 12U play, the Lions got the W versus the Royals 2-1, and the Lions came back again to beat the Dodgers 7-5. Now in 16U action, the Lions defeated the Yankees 9-8, and the Yankees also won against the Dodgers 5-3. And finally, in sports, the second annual Mario Boleg Best of the Best High School Basketball Tournament is scheduled to begin this Wednesday, March 26th through the 29th, here on Grand Bahama at the St. George's Gymnasium and the 8 Mile Rock High Gymnasium.
In Pool A, Tabernacle Baptist, Westminster out of New Providence, C.C. Sweeting also out of New Providence, Agape Christian Academy out of Abaco, and Gateway Christian Academy out of Bimini. Pool B, C.I. Gibson out of New Providence, the Sunline Baptist Academy, Aaron Bailey out of New Providence, 8 Maracay, St. George's, and Blazers Elite Academy out of Grand Bahama.
Iron Luck and IL Cares is always willing and ready to assist our nation youth in any positive feat. We are proud to be a part of the best basketball tournament for this year.
Should certainly be some exciting games at both St. George's and 8 Mile Rock Gym. Ladies and gents, that's your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
Problem gambling affects men and women, young and old, across the Bahamas, financially, mentally, and even physically. Family members and friends also deal with the serious consequences of a gambler's addiction. If you or someone you know needs help, reach out. Support is available. Speak to a trained counselor today at 242-425-2360. The Gaming Board for the Bahamas encourages you to gamble responsibly.
Do you want to find relief from common health concerns such as headaches, back pain, chronic inflammation, and more? How about improved sleep, boost energy, and improve overall well-being? Check out RA Balance Bahamas and get your body into balance with biomagnetic therapy. For all our social links, contacts, or to request an appointment, visit rabalancebahamas.com.
And Grand Bahama Tiles is having its biggest spring clearance sale ever. With 20 to 60% off store-wide, there's savings for everybody on everything. They have large stock items on wood look, porcelains, and natural stones. And all clearance stock must go. So, what are you waiting for? Hurry in and catch the spring clearance sale now. Call them at 352-7920. Some restrictions apply.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that's it for news tonight. On behalf of the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Yolanda Thompson-Everest. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's a live look at the Bahamas Tonight coming your way next.
This is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, brace for job cuts and construction increases. The daunting possibility of a global trade war is increasing pressure on a local shipping giant. Also, a promise made. CAPA's officials promise salaries in line with international standards. And under fire, a restaurant owner looks to clear his company's reputation in the face of damning poisonous and death claims. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. A proposed U.S. tariff on Chinese-built vessels raising serious concerns across the region. And here at home, the construction sector, a strong component of the local economy, could be among the hardest-hit industries. Tonight, the president of the Bahamian Contractors Association is warning of sharp cost increases and job cuts with a potential impact as severe as the dreaded COVID-19 pandemic. Our Devontae Hanna is on the story. Devontae?
Yeah, well, Makushla, it's a policy being debated thousands of miles away, but no doubt one that can hit workers and consumers here at home. A proposed U.S. tariff of up to $1.5 million per port call on Chinese-built ships is sparking an alarm across the region, with experts warning of a 60% increase in the cost of shipping. Well, tonight we're learning from the president of the Bahamian Contractors Association, Leonard Sands, that this concerning new fee could could escalate the cost of construction by up to 25%. And even worse news coming in tonight, that can lead to severe cuts in the construction sector at rates only last seen in some of the country's most dreadful economic times in recent years.
I think we could be looking at a place that we've not seen in the last 5-7 years, post-story and post the COVID-19, where we could start to see job cuts if this really pans out the way how President Trump is suggesting.
That suggestion is being discussed in a hearing at the United States International Trade Commission. Bahamian Tim Martin, CEO of Tropical Shipping, is also testifying, warning stakeholders of the potential impact it could have for consumers in the region. And in a country heavily reliant on imports, it means items like plywood, cement, steel, and even tiles can all be impacted.
It's safe to say across the board we can expect the cost of construction materials, if they are on ships that were made in China, will have automatically off the top a 25% increase across the board.
The proposed tariffs could be implemented by early April. San says not much can be done to prepare. Consumers then should brace for impact.
The end consumer is going to expect to receive a 25% increase in cost, which, again, like stated before, is going to make it much more difficult to build houses, improve buildings, and generally make the cost of doing construction more expensive.
Makushla, we know that the USTR will hold another closed meeting throughout the week in Washington, D.C., but we're here in the Caribbean, and we understand that Caribbean stakeholders are making the case on why the region should be carved out. Of course, this follows the warnings from SuperValu founder Rupert Roberts that inflation can increase by 25%. And keeping this in mind, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis last week pledged to adjust policies to ensure Bahamians are able to adjust easily. He told reporters the main focus is to ensure a diversification of trade, ultimately eliminating the country's dependency on one single economic power. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Devontae. Not only here, the media, all of us are watching this developing story. Well, meantime, as anxieties build amid an escalating global trade war sparked by U.S. President Donald Trump, a prominent Bahamian legal scholar and outgoing president of the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, attorney Peter Maynard, KC, is encouraging Bahamians to broaden their outlook. He says the changing global climate indicates the need for the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean to focus on their own strengths and decrease an historic dependency on one hegemonic power.
We still have a way to go. The biggest room in any place is the room for improvement. But I think compared to many other countries, we're not doing badly, and that's a testimony to that is the World Justice Project, for example, which does these surveys on things like governance and corruption and so on. However, there's still more that we can do, and I hope that more of us can come together in organizations such as this one.
Now, the Commonwealth Lawyers Association is comprised of attorneys all across the realm. Mr. Maynard became the first member from the Caribbean to be elected president of this body since the mid-1980s. He's had a stellar legal career focusing on asset tracing, alternative dispute resolution, as well as teaching. As the Bahamas aims to make itself more competitive globally, he is pushing the idea that more needs to be done to promote entrepreneurship.
But by and large, I think the Bahamas is what's needed is perhaps a greater spirit of entrepreneurship, Bahamians stepping forward and owning businesses, running businesses. I think we need to see more of that being financed to do more business-related stuff. And I think the banking institutions tend to do the low-risk loans and not the more risky loans, which are needed, such as new businesses.
Well, still talking businesses, have you ever purchased an item from a store, looked at your receipt, saw that VAT was charged, but wondered if this business really makes over $100,000 a year and should be charging VAT? Well, those businesses should beware. And if you're making that kind of money and you're not registered with the Department of Inland Revenue, now is the time. A special two-day symposium is taking place, catering to all things business. Felicity Darville has the story.
There are so many questions surrounding starting a business, expanding a business, maybe even reviving a business. Well, on this rare occasion, we've got a one-stop shop right here at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium.
We want you to stop smoking. We want to remind persons that just because you have a pretty flyer and you put it on the car, or you may have a social media page, it does not mean that you are a business. You must have a business license in order to operate a business in the Bahamas.
Now, for those businesses charging VAT when they're not VAT registered, it's time to cease and desist.
DIR is responsible for all legal businesses and entities in the Bahamas, right? It's our job because we cannot police everybody. If you know someone that's charging VAT and is not VAT registered, give us a shout, 225-7280, or send us an email, taxinquiries@bahamas.gov.bs. We will send our team out to deal with those persons. But if you are making over $100,000, we implore you, register for VAT. It is an easy process. We can help you with it. We can walk you through it. And it's something that you must do in accordance with the law.
On Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., if you have any questions about your business or you're seeking funding to take your business to the next level, visit the Inland Revenue Financial Symposium. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
Meantime, the owner of a popular eatery is refuting damning claims against his West Bay establishment. As Fern Carey tells us, the matter has been turned over to the police in an effort to flush out the person or persons behind the allegations.
The owner of Bahama Grill, Eric Gibson, condemning claims in a social media post indicating that someone died from eating food from his establishment and that other people also died after eating food from the West Bay Street restaurant. And he is describing the attack against his business as a heinous, unconscionable act.
What I've known for operating for the last 15 plus years is that if there's an incident of anything, the very first thing happens is I get a call to say XYZ is the case. In this instance, I got no call. I got no inquiries. I got nothing to say that anything was different.
Gibson confirmed that he released a statement yesterday denying receiving any reports or complaints of illness or fatalities relating to food from Bahama Grill. He also explained why the beef ribs featured in an online video did not come from Bahama Grill.
The video showed what they said was a beef rib that that came from Bahama Grill, that had some crawling, I would assume they refer to it as maggots. Again, we can look at it and immediately dismiss it because we haven't served beef ribs for over 4 years. You know, right after the pandemic, 2021, there was a shortage of beef ribs. The prices escalated beyond what I can sell it for reasonably on the menu, so we discontinued carrying it.
Now the matter has been turned over to the police and a $5,000 reward offered in an effort to flush out the perpetrators. At the same time, Gibson has this assurance for his customers.
We are staying true to our mantra, which is we want to provide the best food in the cleanest environment at the best prices with the best customer service second to none.
The Ministry of Health also released a statement last week indicating that they heard about the reports relating to Bahama Grill and were going to investigate. However, Mr. Gibson says that no one from the Ministry of Health has contacted him at this time. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Well, thanks, Fern. Coming up, new housing developments on the way. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping, travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
This one? No. Hey, look, KFC has an incredible promo.
I already had that for lunch.
Oh.
Crunch your hunger cravings and satisfy the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large size. Bucket meals starting at just $20. KFC, finger licking good.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Burying a loved one is never easy and can be a costly thing to do. NIB's funeral benefit can provide much-needed assistance during this difficult time. This one-time payment is made to the individual who paid for the funeral, or payment can be made to the funeral home in lieu of payment to an individual. To claim the funeral benefit, complete all fields of Form B51, Claim for Funeral Benefit. Provide banking details indicating where you would like your payments to be sent. A wire transfer form and a government-issued ID are required for persons residing outside the Bahamas. Ensure that your bank's branch transit number and bank account number are provided, not your debit card number. On islands where there are no banks, checks may be collected at the nearest NIB office. Lastly, the claimant must declare that all information is true. The beneficiary must be designated, and the form must be signed. The funeral benefit form is accompanied by a certified death certificate of the deceased, evidence of payment of funeral expenses, and the marriage certificate if the claim is being made on the strength of a spouse's contribution. The form should be submitted within 6 months after death of the deceased. For more information, visit the NIB website at nib-bahamas.com.
The news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
Well, you're looking at a shot of historic Fort Charlotte, said to be the largest of the 3 forts found in Nassau. Welcome back. The Creative and Performing Arts School, scheduled to open in Nassau this September, got a huge boost Monday following news of its partnership with California-based United Talent Agency. CAPA's project leader, Ian Poitier, says the tertiary institution staff will include Bahamians with industry-based remuneration.
I just wanted to say something about the sort of remuneration package we'll be offering. This ties into a broader question around finance. With so many people coming and going and so many people at different levels and different levels of experience, I want to make sure Bahamians aren't left behind. So apart from the training and skills development, it's very important that remuneration sits at a level which works here but also internationally. So we're going to be referencing Bahamian staffing packages, but also international staffing packages, as well as industry staffing packages. We don't want to kind of be so far out of industry norms that we become a kind of crazy outlier. This has got to be a great place to work, and it's got to be a place that people want to come to and people want to stay at and develop the institution.
The Ministry of Education, a major partner in this government-led initiative designed to boost the local orange economy. Education Minister, the Honourable Glenys Hannah Martin, says there aren't enough art and performing arts teachers in high schools locally, so her ministry reached out to a renowned dance agency.
We entered an agreement with the Shirley Hall Bass Foundation, which is now training teachers so that we can begin offerings in dance and drama, etc., and to do it in a skilled way. So teachers are being trained in this regard. I mean, we would want to work with CAPAS to develop the skill set of teachers even more. So we envision that the creative arts is important as a general norm, but for those students who are particularly interested in this as a career, that it will feed into CAPAS as a tertiary institution.
Well, more homes are on the horizon in country. This as Minister of Housing and Urban Development, the Honourable Keith Bell, announced plans to roll out several new projects across the capital. Speaking on the sideline of last week's key presentation ceremony for 10 families in Linden Pinley Estates, Minister Bell says it's all part of the Davis administration's national strategy to expand access to affordable housing.
We have already
gotten the approval of Cabinet to develop a Dastra Garden subdivision. We're about to clear the land very shortly, and that's a subdivision for 160 homes.
Yes.
We have done Renaissance, and that is a 300 minutes fully built out. It's going to be 300 homes. We're moving on to Pinecrest 2. And even though we are doing 40 homes in there, we have another 30 acres that we can develop. And that's just here in New Providence.
The minister says constructions to begin in the coming months. He also noted that several areas have been identified for the construction of homes, some of which he claims have been overlooked by successive governments.
You're going to travel with us to see Ocean Hole Estates, where those persons in the affordable homes can actually have panoramic views of the ocean. You're going to go down to San Salvador and see the rent-own program that the homes are, the roofs are on. And in the next 3-4 months, those homes are going to be completed down there. And we're going to take you to Mangrove Bush down in Andrews too. We're going to take you across this archipelago and demonstrate to you. And Grand Bahama, we're going to take you in the ghetto garden villas, where no government before this Davis administration has been able to do nothing with this area called the ghetto. We've already acquired a number of properties. We're about to demolish a number of buildings, and we're ready to start building.
Well, if there's anything good to come out of those recent wildfires in New Providence, Eleuthera, and Grand Bahama, it's that officials from the Disaster Risk Management Authority have been moved to ramp up their public education campaign. The plans to really tighten collaboration with relevant stakeholders to ensure public safety.
The DRM's role is to support before matters become a disaster zone. We provide the support to the key stakeholders, and in this instance, it is the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and we're working to support them collaboratively through public awareness campaigns. Our team has just recently launched some guidance on how you can personally manage and mitigate the effects of wildfire hazards. But this is a norm.
The peak fire season here in the Bahamas, typically 12 weeks, beginning mid-February. Officials say there were 201 fire alerts between March 24th, 2024 and March 23rd, 2025.
As you can see, the weather patterns have changed significantly, almost to the point where some days it's windy and cold, and then in our time it's hot. And so these are the signs for us to be prepared as a country, to take the necessary steps. Planning, preparedness does not remain in the remit of the Disaster Risk Management Authorities, and all of us have a responsibility as a small island development state that is affected by climate change to ensure that we take personal responsibility and accountability for disaster management. And so I invite you to check out our resources online, social media, stay tuned and share whatever good information that you can to assist in the management of these natural hazards.
You'll stay with us on The Beat is after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Full Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Attention all foodies, farmers, and fun seekers. The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources is bringing you the biggest agribusiness expo this year. That's right, from April 4th to 6th on the Gladstone Road Farmers Market grounds. It will be packed with exciting exhibits, expert workshops, farm animals for the kids, and even interactive games. Whether you're passionate about agriculture, marine life, or just love great food and family fun, this event is for you. See you there.
What if I told you Wendy's has a new burger? With a flavor so secret, it's almost too delicious to handle. Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time.
What's beautiful about Harbor Island is in 2019, a group of community leaders came together and they said, one of the challenges was human resources. And we said we wanted to be able to fill that gap and address that need. And so since 2019, you will see that we launched the Harbor Island Trade School and we've ran 10 cohorts in Harbor Island. We've been able to train 225 students to date with an investment from the Harbor Island community of $620,000.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
Exuma has really outpaced the rest of the country in terms of its strong economic performance, which has been on a steady increase. The island seeing strong visitor arrivals, an increase in construction, room rentals, and the list goes on. But in tonight's Business Beat, Corval Perfume reports that stakeholders aren't resting on their laurels and are determined to keep Exuma's good fortunes coming.
There's no denying it. Exuma is in the midst of an economic upswing. The Emerald Isle is riding high, and its future success seems almost a given. Almost. Even by more cautious projections, Exuma's economic future appears bright. Businesses are booming, air travel here climbing, infrastructure across the island being upgraded, and opportunities being created in a surplus. But there's still one essential thing still missing: people. Exuma desperately needs more residents. And according to Exuma Chamber of Commerce Chief Aaron Hanna, they'll need places to live too.
A lot of residents here have benefited tremendously from short-term rentals. And so there's been a shift from people renting long-term and now moving into short-term, which is understandable because there's, it's a little bit more lucrative business. But I think long-term housing is going to be needed in order for the island to grow.
Hanna is an optimist about Exuma's future, but he's also pragmatic about what the island needs in order to grow. He credits events like the recent Music and Heritage Festival and the upcoming Family Island Regatta as huge boosts for the island's economy.
Every flight was booked out. You couldn't find a flight to come to Exuma because the Heritage Festival is where it's at this weekend.
The island's MP, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, spoke to ZNS News about Exuma's economy at the recent Music and Heritage Festival, where he sounded determined to keep this momentum going.
We're blessed in Exuma. We've had great fortune to have a good economy, a strong tourism product, and certainly this is an opportunity to showcase who we are, to display much of the musicians from across the country and its great energy.
And so the challenge for the island stakeholders now is building on this magic and ensuring these good fortunes don't change. On the Business Beat, I'm Corval Perfume.
Well, great story, Corval. LaDonna and Marlena join us live for a sneak peek of Access Now. Ladies, what's coming up?
Because while students are in Exuma, we're learning more than just music. Recently, they've been whipping it up in the kitchen, and I want to ask Marlena, what do you think they were cooking?
I wasn't sure. Maybe conch fritters? Conch fritters or... I don't know, conch chow. Probably something with conch in it. I'm not sure. You have any guesses?
I am totally clueless. Totally clueless.
Well, find out coming up in Access Now.
That's my guess.
That's the best way to put it. Stay with us. The National Report is back after the break.
Diet-friendly special.
What is this? Oh, ghost pepper burger.
chicken. I always at Popeyes, so me just come and taste their chicken. Wow. Nice, crunchy. This is off the chisholm.
Wow, that is way better than I expected. Very spicy, extremely spicy actually. The bread is very soft. The chicken is juicy. Yeah, that's spicy food.
Get ready for the biggest night in Bahamian entertainment. The 6th Annual Elevation Awards is back. Bigger, bolder, and unforgettable. Join your host, Sawyer Boy, April 5th at 6 p.m. at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium for an electrifying night of live performances from Nishi LS, Iron Store, Johnny Cake, Wendy 242, Iman, Jay Shepard, and more. Tickets just $100. Get yours now at theelevationawards.com. That's the 6th Annual Elevation Awards, live on ZNS TV 13, April 5th at 6 p.m. Elevate the culture. Celebrate the stars. Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
And that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
For over half a century, we've been more than just an airline. We've been a bridge, connecting families, dreams, and memories across the islands and beyond. Behind every seat sold and every journey planned, there's a dedicated team committed to making air travel affordable and accessible to everyone. At Bahamas Air, we're not just building connections, we're building a safe and dependable airline where quality service is paramount and an excellent travel experience is our priority. Wherever you're going, we're here to take you there with care, with heart, and with the promise of unforgettable journeys. We are family, and just like family, we're committed to taking care of our own. Your Bahamas Air is our Bahamas Air, because here at Bahamas Air, we don't just fly here, we live here.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Ellen Coakley High School's agriculture science program just got a major glow up. The Ministry of Agriculture stepped in with a hefty donation of farming supplies, giving students the tool they need to dig in, literally, and take their hands-on learning to the next level.
Today we've donated some ProMix, seeds, chicken feeders and waterers, as long as some irrigation material, drip tape, and tubing to carry the water down. The minister is pledged with our school grants that is done every year at the Agribusiness Expo, that Ellen Coakley will be one of the recipients of a $2,500 grant, as well as an additional $1,000 towards their chicken coop, as well as a guaranteed 20 scholarships to the island of Exuma for any students that are interested in attending BAMSI.
Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Jomo Campbell says investing in our schools is a no-brainer because growing the future of agriculture starts in the classroom.
It's extremely important to incorporate the students. As we all know, agriculture is an aging industry, and we want to encourage the excitement and the awareness of agriculture, and particularly the layer program. We all know that there's an air crisis now globally, and we've sort of stabilized that to some extent in Nassau. But it isn't just a Nassau-centric initiative. We want to spread that feeling throughout the entire Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And, you know, it starts with the students, they're the future, and so we want to plant that seed so it grows for future generations.
We also chatted with 3 bright students who couldn't hide their excitement about the BAMSI scholarship relationships, big dreams, and even bigger opportunities ahead.
I was hoping that I would get one, but the fact that it was actually said, like, there was cameras and there was witnesses, it makes me feel a lot more secure. I want to study just basic agriculture so that I could go into plant and animal genetics in the future.
I'm ecstatic because honestly, I really didn't want to put that pressure on my parents or family members to try to get all this money. I have to study environmental sciences.
I can't travel putting it in words. It feels so great that we have the opportunity to study without having to stress our parents or about where tuition money coming from. I hope to study plant genetics and animal healthcare.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Lloyd Allen is back from China and is bragging about another lucky Bahamian who was afforded that educational opportunity.
Plus, hear from the country's latest young ambassadors for the Disaster Risk Management Authority.
Stay close to smell what's cooking up in Exuma and who's cooking it.
And coming up in sports, Coach O goes to the Sweet 16. March Madness to the world.
The Bahamas Tonight Access Now starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis.
And I'm Marlena Leonard. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
News is really heating up with our neighbors to the north, Marlena. What do you think?
Heating up? I would say it's very hot right now in terms of news over there.
But I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, so let's dive right into the news, shall we? Just a few weeks ago, we welcomed Lloyd Allen back following 4-month stint in China, where he shared rave reviews and lessons learned. Tonight, another Bahamian also applauding a China training opportunity, which has gifted her the power of intensifying a community initiative centered on servicing the elderly. And of course, Lloyd Allen is on the story.
It's an effort in preserving one community, but one Foxhill resident, Georgette Gardner, says is all about protecting the most vulnerable. She tells her story.
I really love Foxhill. I want to see good for my community. I try to do a few community initiatives, but the main reason why I'm so passionate about my community is because I am a product of tourism.
For the past 40 years, Gardner has resided in the area, and over time, she has become a spark, igniting projects, initiatives, but also hope. That flame of hope also taking her all the way to China.
2 weeks ago, I went to Beijing, China, at a China government school called ABO. They did 5 seminars. One of the seminars that I did was e-commerce and business development.
The experience, a gift of the Chinese embassy here in the capital. Gardner explains why she was selected.
Well, I think because of my community work.
Part of that work has been assisting caregivers at Fox Hill's Senior Citizens Home, Demetrius Home and Care Center, which up to a year ago has been under private management.
We've been improving on the actual building and structure. We had to do carpentry, mason work, a lot of painting.
Assistant at the center, Wilma Jones, says Gardner has been a heaven sent, helping beyond the basics, but also extending her efforts toward fundraising.
She brings persons to the home, like persons who want to donate and come in and do feedings, etc. And that helps quite tremendously because, you know, we have, 19 persons here to feed, 3 meals a day, and, you know, sometimes it gets really hard.
ABO, or the Academy for International Business Officials, helps community leaders to enhance skills in supporting and advancing efforts to better service its members and explore avenues for development. Jones says this will undoubtedly advance Gardner's effort.
Dealing with donations and people bringing in monies, you know, you sometimes need outside help.
Gardner already has a number of projects in the pipeline, like funding regular maintenance to the facility's bus and funding supplies for its budding garden. She also encourages others to spring into action with similar projects in their own community.
Whatever it is you have, always find time to give back. Giving back is so important.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, a little sobering for Access Now viewers, but sweeping staff cuts at the U.S.-based National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration could impact the Bahamas' timely access to life-saving alerts from hurricanes and tornadoes. NOAA is a regulatory agency charged with forecasting and monitoring atmospheric conditions, and countries like the Bahamas rely heavily on the agency for vital, accurate, and critical weather data. Managing Director for the Disaster Risk Management Authority, Aaron Sargent, says he's already reached out to his regional counterparts to address the issue.
Is a major concern for most national disaster coordinators, my counterparts in the region. I just recently came from an after-action review on Hurricane Beryl in Barbados, and the main topic at the after-action review is how we as a region could coalesce around one another to support one another. And again, NOAA, FEMA, all UK, USAID provide significant support to the region. And as such, we now have to find creative ways, and which is why we're doing creative things to try and mitigate any potential exposure that the closures or cuts to these entities that may bring.
Sargent says his agency is also hoping to re-engage with the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology to strengthen its regional forecasting capabilities.
We're seeking to kind of go back and review whether or not it's practical for the Bahamas to get back involved from a Met standpoint, a meteorological standpoint, in that because they provide a number of hazard monitoring tools that allow us to see burn scars from satellite imagery of wild land fires, etc., to the temperature rises, flood rises, etc. And so the goal and the beauty of the Caribbean is we all experience the same thing. Interestingly enough, you would find that a number of national disaster coordinators face the same problems.
Bahamian students Gabrielle Saunders and Kiana Roll are the country's newest disaster risk management youth ambassadors. The youngsters edged out 10 other Bahamians with their winning video presentations on climate change and environmental stewardship. Both students will act as disaster preparedness and risk reduction advocates. Minister of State with responsibility for disaster risk management, the Honorable Leon Lundy, applauded the ambassadors during a ceremony at the Disaster Reconstruction and Authority headquarters on Gladstone Road.
I extend my heartfelt congratulations to you both. Your speeches were compelling, your passion undeniable, and your commitment to our nation inspiring. You have demonstrated not only an understanding to the challenges we face, but also the courage to confront them with conviction and with purpose. Gabrielle, you reminded us that climate change is not a distant threat. It is a present reality, demanding urgent action. Our beautiful islands stand on the front lines of rising sea levels and increasingly severe hurricanes.
10th grade Aquinas College students Gabrielle Saunders and St. Andrew's Anglican School participant Kiana Roll both receiving laptops and prizes for their success. The winners now optimistic over the road ahead.
I feel great that I was selected to be a youth ambassador for the DRM. And the way I'm gonna take this out is to help people and make sure that everybody is safe no matter what through any kind of crisis.
This is a great opportunity to spread awareness about climate change and how it really affects the Bahamas and what we should do to, fix it or to at least be prepared for it. And I feel very prepared.
And still to come, the authorities at Cappers are in the building. We're excited to hear from them, so keep it locked.
At RBC, we're proud to support Alive's Ultimate Business Makeover campaign for a second year. We know that micro, small, and medium businesses are vital to our economy. They drive innovation, and more importantly, they create jobs. By investing in their growth, we're fostering economic success, and together we can pave the road to a thriving business community.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital.
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs.
Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the Sunshine Room.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Welcome back. We're cruising tonight with our drone pilot, Destiny Reed, who's out there over the cruise port and heading into the Atlantis area. A beautiful sunset as well. Well, let's head down to Exuma to see what's cooking. Let's go.
At the recent Bahamian Music and Heritage Festival in Georgetown, Exuma, music was not the only focus of that fun-filled weekend. Students also got a chance to show off their culinary skills by taking part in a cooking competition. And these high school students put their creativity and love of cooking to full force, coming with some interesting dishes themed around Exuma's love affair with the onion.
Spicy grill with roasted potatoes, onion, bell peppers, and tomatoes.
Everything in my dish was seafood related. I made a coconut onion infused grouper fillet that was fried, and then I also made onion lobster fritters and caramelized butter onion shrimp.
Today we did a Exuma flat taco with onion aioli, cracked lobster, and pickled onions.
So those students there were the third, second, and first runners-ups. If you are wondering, the winning dish was prepared by Exuma Christian Academy's Janelle Lockhart, and here he is to tell us what he made.
I made an onion cake with a spicy lobster jam topped with a tule.
Well, that sounds delicious. Good job to those students there in Exuma. And thinking of schools, Ian Poitier, project lead for the soon-to-come Creative and Performing Arts School of the Bahamas, or CAPAS as we'll call it, joins us tonight. Welcome to Access Now, Ian.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So the Creative and Performing Arts School is set to transform arts education in the Bahamas. We know that there was an announcement yesterday about a new partnership for when the school comes to fruition. Tell us about that.
Yes, it's very exciting, and thank you for inviting me on. When we launched the consultation last year, we made it clear that, at this stage, we want to benefit from the learnings of a lot of other people. So we want to engage in partnerships, and the partnerships be local in the Bahamas as well as international. The partnership with the United Talent Agency, which we announced yesterday, is huge. They're one of the top 3 Hollywood agencies for talent, ranging across acting, dancers, singers, choreographers, writers, sports people, brands. So they have a huge kind of talent pool, and they're the kind of agency who our graduates would deal with after they finish. We have them before. And the partnership is really rich and varied and valuable for us. So first and foremost, they're helping to design the modules. So we know that our students are being educated to industry standard. It's not just theoretical or academic. They're then helping to supply some of the teachers, guest teachers, master classes, and so on. And given the people in their talent pool, I mean, Cynthia Erivo, Timothy Chalalet, like serious people. And they sent a note around the agency a couple of weeks ago. And so many people who have connections to the Bahamas we didn't know kind of expressed an interest. A lot of them household names. So they'll help us to do that, and then we'll set up a production register so that our graduates are recognized internationally as being of industry standard. They can work on anything. They're bringing us productions. Given the stable of stuff, they hear about it at the beginning. They've got one of the biggest hits on TV at the moment, White Lotus. Mike White, Jennifer Coolidge are clients of theirs.
Huge.
So we're looking to see, okay, where can we bring stuff to the Bahamas that our students can work on? We're working on a show which we're close to final stages now of being greenlit for next spring. There are 123 crew productions on that.
Amazing.
Between this September and next year, we can have Bahamians trained to do some of those jobs.
Incredible.
That's the kind of thing, and these are meaningful jobs. These aren't just make coffee and drive people from A to B jobs. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's hard to build a career on that. Even further, they're helping us to set up a production hub and a production fund so that we can have investment into Bahamian products and services, audiovisual products. And then also just helping to build an advisory board for us of people who are, you know, well established. These are people who can go around the world looking out for our interests. So that partnership is really, I mean, it's much bigger than anything I dreamed of.
It's an incredible foot in the door.
And I should pay tribute to Joy Tribalou at the promotion board, who really brokered the introductions through several stages to get us to here. This is the kind of level we really need to work at, you know, in the Bahamas. So hugely exciting. They're incredibly nice. They've really taken on the Bahamas. So they have a team of 5 working for us. And I was on a call with them, somebody who wants to do some sponsorship internationally. And to hear them talk about campus and us, they've got us into their DNA already.
So
it's amazing.
It really is. And can you tell us a little bit about CAPS's connection with the Ministry of Education?
Of course. So Minister Glenys Hanna-Martin is our sponsoring minister. This whole enterprise comes under the Ministry of Education, Technical and Vocational Training. You need somebody in government to sort of shepherd it through. So she's been an inspiration. I didn't know of her past. She ran the drama club QC. Her sister went to drama school. Like, there's all this stuff in there. You start to find out about people, you know, kind of, there's all a little
Everyone's got a creative spark.
Everyone's got it in there. We benefit obviously from her knowledge and experience and her passion. You know, she's kind of like the conscience of the country, and it's just inspiring. I've heard her talk about the school now a few times in Parliament, and her vision for what this could be. She talks about a paradigm shift, which is not just something in education, but also for the economy, setting up a new economic sector, something for the culture, really giving voice and expression and kind of visual context to all of our cultural output. Talking about the kind of possibilities internationally. So putting the Bahamas on the map, you know, not just as sun, sand and sea, but for the culture and taking that around. And then also as a kind of disaster management scenario. So with CAPAS, it's going to be a very large space. We're going to make it so that it can be an active hurricane shelter, like overnight.
Incredible.
Which is something we desperately need in the country. So there's all these kind of layers to it, and Minister Hanna-Martin brings that kind of cross-government, senior, you know, experienced ministerial view to it, and I'm incredibly grateful.
Amazing. And now we know that we heard yesterday that some of these courses are already being offered at BTVI. What are some of the main courses we'll be able to see in the school once it's fully open?
So we'll start with, you know, the obvious ones, the acting, dancing and singing, and that's where we're going to have 60 students, so 20 in each cohort, and then 40, this is just the first year of what we call production arts. So that's hair and makeup, location management. We'll start with animation probably, which means the visual artists here have got a real opportunity. Camera work. Some of the others are in the balance because there's so many to choose from. But props, lights, sound, event management, business management, writing, directing, producing, all of these would be on offer. We're kind of, the way we're deciding is kind of based on a few things. So we've got some productions lined up to come. We need to make sure people are trained for that. With BTVI, they already do the basics for hair and makeup and lights and sound and so on. So the idea is, say, you'll get a barbering or hairdressing qualification at BTVI, and then you'll come to us, and we'll teach you how to cut for period for the 1920s and 30s. We'll teach you how to make wigs. We'll teach you how to do special prosthetics, or, you know, something that kind of is special for screen and stage. And it's a different kind of it's a different craft, really, because, you know, it has to work just out front, and what's behind might be the same. So in the back of your hair, there might be like pins and grips and things like that. It's all about this. But it's wonderful that BTVI is already offering this, and we're looking to announcing the details of that partnership soon, because we want to dovetail with their timetables. So let's say you go and do carpentry at BTVI. We'll then teach you how to build sets and do sets design and big sort of productions. But when you think of all the things that could come here, and all the things we can generate on our own, and people have these skills already, it means you could still run your barber shop and then say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go and work on this.
You have an extra skill.
Got an extra skill.
Yeah, and so when can people expect the enrollment to begin? When is the school going to be open? When can we get started with our classes?
So we'll start auditions and interviews in May. So auditions for the performers, interviews for staff, and then we'll start classes in September. We'll do different things for each term, so, you know, please ask people to listen out for exactly how we're going to roll this out. We'll have our soft opening in September and probably have our grand opening in November, and that should be a pretty major event.
I'm so excited. Ian, it's certainly been a pleasure hosting you tonight. We can't wait till the school is open. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, let's check in with Total Sports to see what's coming up.
Coach Yo and the Lady Rabs are back in the Sweet 16. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Tuesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. Coach Yo, Ray McCollins, and the Ole Miss Lady Rebels are heading back to the Sweet 16 after upsetting the 4th-ranked Baylor Bears on Sunday with a 69-63 win. Yolette McCoon has now guided the Rebels to its second appearance in the Sweet 16 in the past 3 seasons, last reaching it in 2023. This is a 12th trip in program history. McCoon improving her national tournament record to 5-3 in her time in Oxford. The Rebs' patented defense, their calling card in this one, as the Rebels forced a season-high 21 turnovers for Baylor to secure the win.
It's satisfaction because I really enjoy coaching this team, and this team has had a goal that they want to go to the Final Four. And we don't get to stop tonight. And we will be one of the remaining 16 teams that will be competing. And you don't have a chance if you're out. So as far as I'm concerned, we will be one of the 16 teams that has a chance to win a national championship. So it's satisfaction in that regard. I'm at peace what happened in the past, because for me, that's all a part of being here, and that's what makes it special. So just really, it was really gratifying when the buzzer sounded and we had the victory.
Not so much luck on the men's side. VJ Edgecombe and the Baylor Bears would run into a buzzsaw in top-seeded Duke and projected #1 overall pick Cooper Flagg. Baylor would initially put up a good fight and kept it close before the Blue Devils would flip the switch and cruise to an 89-66 win. VJ pouring in a side-high 16 points in what may potentially be his final collegiate game, with many projecting him to be a top 5 pick in this year's NBA draft.
Duke is a well-executed team, well-coached team. You know, they play hard. You know, they made shots. We had a ton of mistakes, and I mean, you know, they separate from that. I mean, basketball is a game of runs, and they went on a run. They went on a pretty big run, so that's what caused it, to be honest. So yeah.
And that's what Look at Your Sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
Welcome to What's Trending. Join me, Jiminita Swain.
And me, The Bahama Beauty, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m.
Only on the ZNS Network.
The Hidden Disabilities Sunflower is a globally recognized symbol for persons with invisible disabilities.
The sunflower lanyard made our journey less stressful, smoother, and more inclusive.
REACH is proud to support the Hidden Sunflower Scheme, which makes the invisible visible. So far, the Nassau Airport Authority and the Nassau Cruise Port are sunflower certified.
So if you see someone with a sunflower lanyard, always remember to be patient and ask if they need some help. Please be kind and always remember to show respect.
We wish to encourage more hotel operators with amenities such as water parks, restaurants, cinemas, government offices to join this initiative, making the Bahamas a more sunflower-friendly country.
Please feel free to reach out to the REACH office at 328-4123 Or you can reach out to the National Commissions for Persons with Disabilities at 396-8700.
It's time now for your Access Weather Forecast. We have a frontal boundary across the northwest Bahamas that, interacting with a mid to upper level trough in the Gulf of Mexico, will support pockets of showers and thunderstorms, some of which are affecting Grand Bahama, Abaco, Andros, and Eleuthera. Here in the capital, we're pretty much okay for the moment and should be that way for most of the night, but we will certainly have some heavy showers and thunderstorms lurking around. And your boating forecast tonight, well, it's brought to you by Live Business, where we bulk up your business. In the northwestern Central Islands, the winds will be light and variable, but there will be gusty netto showers and thunderstorms, wave heights 1 to 3 feet, locally higher in gusts. Low tide taking place at 11:33 tonight. For the southeastern islands, east to southeast winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So we're asking small craft to exercise caution in the southeast Bahamas tonight. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, in the northwestern islands, the winds become northerly after that frontal passage at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 3 feet. High tide tomorrow, 5:53 in the morning with a low tide at 12:18 in the afternoon. And for the central and southeastern islands, Wednesday, northeast winds 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And on Thursday, in the northwestern islands, we have that clockwise rotation continuing. The winds becoming northeast, increasing in speeds 15 to 20 knots. So we'll bump up a caution flag for the northwest Bahamas on Thursday. High tide 6:44 in the morning with a low tide at 1:04 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, very strong winds, 15 to 25 knots, also out of the northeast with rough seas at 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. So an advisory will be in place for small boaters in the central and southeastern islands on Thursday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
I've been looking for you, but hey, y'all, there you've been, y'all. I've been looking for you. I've been chilling out by the bar last night. This girl, she was looking nice, she blew my mind. Well, all of a sudden, I start order drinks.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. LaDawn and Melina.
Thanks a lot, Basil. We're still in spring, but it's still a bit nippy out there, Malena.
It sure is, but I'm sure it's going to warm up soon, and we will be wishing for cooler days in no time.
I'm sure, but until then, let's turn things over to Matea Cunningham, and let's talk socials.
Hey, I'm on your screens again, so let's all clap in unison. It's Let's Talk Socials time. Today, we're going over a trend that has some crying, some laughing, and some considering. Ladies and gents, today we're talking about the Jesus Glow. The Jesus Glow is described as the sudden shift in a person's physical appearance once they give their life to Christ. The trend has many sharing their stories as they compare clips or photos of them prior to becoming a Christian to the after. In some of these clips, you're unable to decipher if these are really the same people. Check this out.
Do you get deja vu? Do you get deja vu? God, I wish that you had thought this through. Do you get deja vu? God, I wish that you had thought.
Well, the Jesus Glow is surely evident. According to those participating in the trend, although giving their lives to Christ was a symbolic act, their outward appearances changed in both minor and major ways. Some changed apparel, hairstyles, piercings, and more, while others simply look happier. And that's the glow within itself. I'm Matea, and I'll see you beautiful people tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Matea, and that's a wrap for us here on Access Now.
Yes, it is. Well, stay tuned for the rundown with Clint Watson.
Good night, everybody.
Strong family bonds provide a crucial support system, often filling the gaps that might otherwise lead to reliance on social assistance.
If we get the family structure support system right, you won't see adult children willingly putting their parents in senior citizens' homes. You won't see anyone putting children up for adoption. We should be the safety net for when the family begins to have some challenges.
Addressing the root causes of dependency is essential, as our goal is to shift the focus from merely providing aid to fostering self-reliance.
We must be prepared to move persons from dependency to self-sufficiency to economic empowerment. And I'm asking the public to join us on this journey.
This has been the Heartbeat Brief, an inside look at the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting.
We are here in the time of need. There's no discrimination. The mission is to relieve the suffering. We volunteer, we deliver care. With donors and partners, we're always here to turn compassion into action. Protect your life and help with our training throughout the years. We empower to heal the world. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas. Community farming for food security. Climate programs suited for our island country. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas.
This message brought to you by the Bahamas Red Cross Society in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Battling for B is a joke compared to battling colon cancer.
You want to protect your quarterback? You need to protect your body.
The same way we declare that we will be victorious on Bay Street, it's the same way you will declare that you'll be victorious over colon cancer.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Both men and women are affected equally. Fortunately, colon cancer can be prevented by scheduling routine visits with your doctor, by being aware of the symptoms, and by having some form of colon cancer screening when appropriate. If you're over the age of 45, talk to your doctor about having a colonoscopy today so that you can avoid a conversation about colon cancer tomorrow.
At Harold One, I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us again on another night. Only days left before the U.S. hits tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China. By definition, tariffs are taxes charged on goods imported from other countries. The companies that bring the foreign goods into the country pay the tax to the government. Now, a proposed U.S. tariff on Chinese-built vessels, raising serious concerns across the region, and of course, you can imagine, here at home. The construction sector, a strong component of the local economy, could be among the hardest hit industries. Tonight, the president of the Bahamian Contractors Association is warning of sharp cost increases and job cuts with a potential impact as severe as the dreaded COVID-19 pandemic. Devontae Hanna is joining me live tonight in studio with the details. Welcome to the Rundown, Devontae. What can you tell us about this story? Serious impact here.
Yes, definitely. It's a policy that's being debated thousands of miles away from home, but no doubt it will hit workers and consumers here. Now, a proposed U.S. tariff of up to $1.5 million per port call on Chinese-built ships is sparking an alarm across the region, with experts warning of a 60% increase in the cost of shipping. Well, tonight we're learning from the Bahamian Contractors Association President Leonard Sands, who says that this concerning new fee could escalate the cost of construction, that is, up by 25%. And even worse, it can lead to severe job cuts in the sector at rates only last seen in some of the country's most dreadful economic times in recent years.
I think we could be looking at a place that we've not seen in the last 5-7 years, post-story and post the COVID-19, where we could start to see job cuts if this really pans out the way how President Trump is suggesting.
That suggestion is being discussed in a hearing at the United States International Trade Commission. Bahamian Tim Martin, CEO of Tropical Shipping, is also testifying, warning stakeholders of the potential impact it could have for consumers in the region. And in a country heavily reliant on imports, it means items like plywood, cement, steel, and even tiles can all be impacted.
It's safe to say across the board we can expect the cost of construction materials, if they are on ships that were made in China, will have automatically off the top a 25% increase across the board.
The proposed tariffs could be implemented by early April. San says not much can be done to prepare. Consumers then should brace for impact.
The end consumer is going to expect to receive a 25% increase in cost, which, again, like stated before, is going to make it much more difficult to build houses, improve buildings, and generally make the cost of doing construction more expensive.
Well, the USTR will hold another closed hearing on the proposed tariff tomorrow in Washington, D.C., where Caribbean stakeholders are making the case on why the region should be carved out. Of course, this follows the warning from SuperValue founder Rupert Roberts that inflation can increase by 25%. Now, let's keep in mind that the Prime Minister did address this. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis last week pledged to adjust policies to ensure Bahamians are able to adjust easily. And he told reporters that the main focus is to ensure a diversification of trade, ultimately eliminating the country's dependency on one single economic power.
I'm thinking, as I hear this story, hear the president of Contractors Association talk, are there any measures they're putting in place to mitigate against this, or to perhaps protect the industry? It's one thing to sound the alarm. Then when do we move from sounding the alarm to actually taking action to protect the industry?
Well, I think from our discussion today with Mr. Sands, he said that there's not much that they can do. They lay at the mercy of the U.S. government. Now, we know that the government and the Trade Commission of the Bahamas has already begun the discussions in terms of diversifying where we get our construction materials, that is, from. So it's the same thing as getting those low-cost eggs in SuperValue. Yeah. They're now going to see if they can get it directly from Brazil or some place that is able to create or manufacture cement at a cheaper price, or sand, or any material. But as it stands, contractors, there's nothing much that they can do.
Well, that's what I was getting at, because what we've seen these agencies here in government do is they're using this opportunity to find solutions. And that is, instead of getting from the regular suppliers in the U.S. that may be going through the issues, go to other places and cut out the middleman, and get direct shipping here and reduce the cost so that your industry can be safeguarded. This is a time now not just to talk, but this is a time to put in place measures to take action. That's what leadership requires.
We heard from Kerry Howell, I believe he's the CEO of one of the major shipping companies. He said, when we go to these other countries, we're getting fresher meat, we're getting better material, used from better items or better natural resources. We no longer have to deal with processed foods from the United States or things that will cause us to have a shorter shelf life.
Export only.
Yeah, export only, the things that we've been discussing for quite some time. And so it's good to know that we're getting ahead of this. We could just hope that the government stays true to its word.
It could end up being a blessing in disguise.
Oh, boy.
Wandana, thanks for reporting tonight. Well, those U.S. tariffs levied on certain industries really having a domino effect. And get this, so we're talking about sweeping, absolutely sweeping staff cuts. And those sweeping staff cuts are going to affect on other areas. For example, U.S.-based National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration could impact the Bahamas' timely access to actual life-saving alerts from hurricanes and tornadoes. Now, NOAA, as we know it as, is a regulatory agency charged with forecasting and monitoring atmospheric conditions, and countries like the Bahamas rely heavily on the agency for vital, accurate, critical weather data. Now, here's Managing Director for the Disaster Risk Management Authority, Aaron Sargent, who says he's already reached out to his regional counterparts to address this issue.
Is a major concern for most national disaster coordinators, my counterparts in the region. I just recently came from an after-action review on Hurricane Beryl in Barbados, and the main topic at the after-action review is how we as a region could coalesce around one another to support one another. And again, NOAA, FEMA, all USAID provide significant support to the region. And as such, we now have to find creative ways, and which is why we're doing creative things to try and mitigate any potential exposure that the closures or cuts to these entities that may bring.
Now, Sargent says his agency is also hoping to re-engage with the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology to strengthen its regional forecasting capabilities.
We're seeking to kind of go back and review whether or not it is practical for the Bahamas to get back involved from a Met standpoint, a meteorological standpoint, in that because they provide a number of hazard monitoring tools that allow us to see burn scars from satellite imagery of wild land fires, etc., to the temperature rises, flood rises, etc. And so the goal and the beauty of the Caribbean is we all experience the same thing. Interestingly enough, you would find that a number of national disaster coordinators face the same problems.
All right, now it goes back to what I've been saying before, and we just talked about it just now with Devontae, and that simply is these opportunities, I call them opportunities, not really challenges or problems, because they give you the opportunity, get it again, to be able to find creative ways and means of addressing things that for years we've been accustomed to the same routine, the same people, the same interaction. It now calls for creativity in our various sectors of our country to find ways of networking with people elsewhere to get the information that we need. For too long, I say it, Bahamas, we've been very dependent on the U.S., and they're our biggest trading partner, our closest neighbor. But if the U.S. continues in the direction that it's headed in, you can see that it's about America first, U.S. first. And that means that we have to, as a country, safeguard ourselves and make sure that the people we're trading with and that we are partners with, we can ensure that our country can survive and thrive. And if that means finding additional trading partners, new people of networking with, well, let's do that. The world is our playing field now. We no longer need to depend on one nation. We can depend on other nations who have either similar technology or even better to be able to assess and help us do what it is that we do. And so this is a great opportunity for good leadership to find creative ways for allowing the Bahamas to thrive and to go into a different direction perhaps it never went in before. And it could find itself successful in saving money, getting better access to information and technology, and building new trading blocks that then they can benefit us. So it's interesting that you're seeing these various areas that are being impacted and affected by what the U.S. is doing. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's doomsday for us. It means there's opportunity to find new trading partners. Let's get on with it and find out what's going on. Well, let's get on to tonight's show. Since Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, announced at the start of the year a new value-added tax rate on grocery items, 5%, his administration's given food, just as the pen is falling, the prices are falling, is giving food stores until April 1st to prepare for the new 5% VAT rate. Now, that's going to be important because, you all like to talk about, oh, we have to change our systems. You just don't want to put the price down. Stop it. Watching these prices in the Consumer Protection Commission, they're here. The Executive Chairman is here, Senator Randy Roll, tonight to talk about how they're going to go about doing it, how they're going to make sure people are compliant. And also tonight, if you live in Grand Bahama or have ever had a dream of being there for any particular period of time. We've got the latest information on how you can purchase your own property. The Grand Bahama Development Company's Senior Sales and Commercial Development, Charles Pratt, is here tonight with a list of affordable properties, and you will not believe what large pieces of property are going for right here in the Bahamas. Stay with us. The rundown on the ZNS Network returns right after the break.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Welcome back, and a special good evening to all of you who are watching in the lines in. I see you there. Daisy and others are always there supporting, and those of you who are watching on YouTube, wherever you're watching in Turks and Caicos, in the Caribbean, and the world, around the world, as well as here at home, thank you for joining us on the Rundown, whatever platform you're watching it on. Well, it was back in January when Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, announced that come April 1st, a new 5% value-added tax will be stamped on grocery store items like baby food, lunch snacks, frozen food, and fresh vegetables and fruits, but not on deli foods. And I think some of y'all are going to be forced to change your diet now. Then during the mid-year budget, the Prime Minister added that the new VAT rate will be levied at gas stations too. That's exciting. Consumers are hoping these prices do go down to enjoy a new shopping experience. Mandated to watch those prices is the Consumer Protection Commission. Its Executive Chairman, Senator the Honorable Randy Roll, is with us tonight to give us an update on how his team is preparing for the new tax rate. Senator, welcome. Thanks for joining us on Rundown.
Thank you, Clint. Happy to be here.
So let's get into this. You're going to be responsible for actually seeing, is this actually going on in these stores? Are people complying? Now, we know what happens when your people always give you excuses. I have to change my register. I have to change my computer system. I have to change this. I have to change that. Have they had enough time to do that?
Well, I think from January to now, Clint, that's sufficient time to at least get their business in order. And so under the Ministry of Economic Affairs, price control, as well as consumer protection, we have all hands on deck to make sure that it's a smooth transition for Bahamians. You know, it's an exciting time to have VAT reduced to 5% on food items. You know, there's been a lot of cry about the prices of foods, and we know it's something global, but this administration and the Prime Minister is taking it by the bull by the horn and saying, you know what, let me try and create some ways so that Bahamians can feel relief.
So walk us through, what should people expect come April 1? Which is, of course, is it Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? April, when is April 1st, y'all?
Monday.
Monday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday, April 1st. Okay, so what should people expect April 1st in the gas station at the Palms, as well as in the food stores?
Okay, well, again, like I said, those food stores and gas stations, they would have made some adjustments with their systems. And so, you know, once you go to checkout, whether you're getting groceries or something else, you should see it reflected on your receipt. Now, the good thing about it is some people, some Bahamians who shop often, they know the price of some things. And so they're going to understand or know, have an idea of what they're exactly looking for. And, what we want Bahamians to do is to be very vigilant, to take note of it. Our teams are going to be there, price inspectors are going to be there, but we need all eyes on deck. We want, if you see something, to report it. Let us know. We're going to be, around the clock in terms of you'll be able to reach us by phone. You'll see the inspectors out in the stores. Let us know. We're going to deal with it. But not necessarily only here in Nassau, because it's a nationwide thing.
Throughout the Family Islands.
Throughout the Family Islands. And so we're excited about it. Like I said, it's a decisive step in the right direction, and it's something that is a real savings, and we want Bahamians to be the benefits of it.
What oftentimes mars these kind of rollbacks, I call it, is because people do strange things and the savings aren't passed on to Bahamians. For example, you may say, okay, corned beef has been $5.25, and so with VAT reduction, if that's included in it, then let's say corned beef should go down to $4.30, and you don't see it, or you see corned beef go to $4.30, and all of a sudden you see it goes to $4.40, then $4.90, then $5.20 over a period of time, it creeps right back up, and then people start saying, oh, that's because of supply and demand. Corned beef gone up internationally, so we're paying more. When really and truly they're trying to, bit by bit, get back to where that price was, where they could make that bigger profit margin. It's sad, but people do it.
Most definitely.
What is the government doing to ensure that that these rollbacks, this price adjustment is felt by Bahamians?
Well, again, price gouging is another major thing, like you said, that you're speaking about, that we find that sadly, there are some stores that will try and get away with it. And so therefore, that's why we have to be very vigilant. We want our consumers to be vigilant. And when you see something that looks like price gouging, even if you're not certain about it, Clint, we want you to let us know. We want to know, we want to be able to check it out. But like I said, the good thing about Bahamian shoppers, they've been waiting for this from January. And so, they're going to be vigilant. They're going to say, these are some things that we see that don't look right. How can we fix it?
That's important. I know I had a little experience before when I was purchasing a certain item from one store, and I bought it thinking, okay, this is a little expensive, but I guess this is what things have risen to. And then I came back and talked to people and said, are you crazy? Are you paying that price for a piece of meat? You can go to this particular location and get something completely different from a different store. Went to that location, the exact same product, almost $40 less. Unbelievable. Do we have any kind of checks and balances in our country where if there's a vast difference in the pricing of goods, there's some recourse for that?
Well, Clint, let me go even further. This administration is working on some major initiatives. I think you would have heard my colleague, Senator Barry Griffin, talk about it.
Yes.
So, we're in the final stages, the government is in the final stages of a cost comparison app. Now, we've been testing the waters, and if persons who are online may have seen us do a tracker. We've had an egg tracker, we had a chicken tracker. Just the other day, we tracked cement. So we want them to now, in their mindset, know that, listen, this is what's going to happen. People will show their prices in this app. You will be able to see this app. You will be able to see who has what prices. And then as a consumer, you can decide where you want to go. And I think that's a game changer. It's exciting. We're looking forward to it. And not only that, but in this app also, there will be a portion where you can make your complaints. And so these complaints will also be sent directly to our office, and we can have someone who can go and investigate a complaint right away.
Should these changes in the stores, should these be noticeable enough that you will see and feel an impact in your spending?
Yeah, I mean, some of them you will. Again, this is one portion of a broader strategy by this administration. Again, you know, my colleague, again, Senator Barry Griffin, we've also been talking about trade diversification. And I noticed in the other segment, you guys started to talk about it. So sourcing items from other places is something that's also a part of that cost-saving initiative that can very well be great. To think that a shipment from Barbados to the U.S. is also cheaper than from the U.S. to the Bahamas. It says that there are some things that we need to look at. Well, the administration is adamant, and listen, we have to find a way to cut it out. We have to find a way to make sure that Bahamians feel it. I was just telling someone today, a full pallet from the DR to the Bahamas is $250. That same pallet from Miami to Nassau is $300.
Wow.
Okay, so there is a difference, and unless Bahamians know, unless we educate them on what are the options out there, what are the benefits of looking around, and we want consumers to also be smart consumers. So we want you to read a lot, we want you to talk to friends, we want you to look at the fine print. And if you do that, we're going to eventually find ways where you're going to start to see a lot of cost savings in a number of different areas. But this 5%, it's a start. I think it's a good initiative, and I'm excited and looking forward to more initiatives such as this.
Let's turn to the gas retailers. They would have received a markup from this administration after lobbying for a long time. They received a markup, and so Bahamians would have seen a slight increase in the price of gasoline and diesel and fuel at the pumps as a result of that markup. Now we're going to see a reduction in 5% in the tax. So will that be relief for Bahamians, or will it take them back pretty much to where they would have been before the markup would have been in place?
No, well, you should feel the relief. Again, it's a start. We're looking to find ways, and the government is looking to find ways to give more relief to consumers. And so, yes, piece by piece, there are several things that the government is doing that you're going to start to feel it, you're going to start to appreciate it, and you'll understand it. But again, you know, I want to stress, we want Bahamians to be vigilant in terms of they know, some people know, this is the prices that things are happening, this is what it was, this is what it should be, and where you see that there's a big difference, then do let us know.
And of course, I always tell people, Bahamians have a level of responsibility in this as well. You can't go spending and squandering every bit you have in your pocket and then say, at the end of the day, I know the money gone, I have, you know, cost of living. It requires some prudent spending among Bahamians so that you can enjoy the savings and be able to see that you have something extra left over. Don't go spend it and pick up a couple more things in the trolley that you didn't need and then say, I spent the same thing in the grocery store. Well, no, you really ain't. You pick up some things you didn't need to pick up because you had a little extra couple dollars in your wallet. So I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and you know, I told a story the other day, you know, this lady, she went to the grocery store. As she got to the register, she says to the cashier, listen, let me know when I've reached $100.
Right.
And as the cashier puts about 8 things in the trolley, she says it's $100. And so now this same mother has to decide, do I have the milk? Do I use the cream? These are the type of challenges that Bahamians are faced with daily. And so initiatives such as this are meant to try and ease the burden on Bahamians. And I'm happy also to announce, Clint, that, you know, and consumer protection, people have been calling in. People have been making complaints when they feel slighted by providers. Just this past 2 days ago, we looked at our numbers so far, and so far for the year, we've had about 76 complaints, but we're already about $41,000 in refunds that we've been able to get for consumers.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so we're on track to even surpass what the recovery rate was last year, which was some $242,000.
All right. Now I want to make this correction because I'm being told that the reduction on VAT is not on gasoline or diesel. It's on the food purchase
items, sorry.
in those
in those stores.
Those stores.
Yes,
all right. So don't go there telling Clint say my gas must be cheaper. No, it's not on gas. It's not on diesel yet. It's on the reduction of the food that you purchase in the gas stations. So you all of y'all that go on the run, go on the inside and buy your food and buy your grocery items. The reduction is to 5% in there, not at the pumps, all right? So we're not gonna see that yet. It's actually on the food items. It's a good first step, eh?
Yeah, like I say, it's on in the food stores, in the gas stations, all the gas stations has the little food items, and so those are, and any place where, or little grocery stores, that food items are sold.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Senators, for joining us.
Thank you.
We look forward to it. I think Tuesday's gonna be Christmas Day for everybody. Yeah. Christmas Day come Tuesday. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And stay with us. The Grand Bahama Development Company, a subsidiary of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. They're responsible for land and growing, and of course, teleprompter operators asleep again. So they're going to be talking about some good news, and we're going to talk about that right after the break. Stay with us. Stay close.
That's Omar Ferguson. I've been disabled now from 2009. What inspired me to start my own business? It was the determination to know that I still had something left in me, even though a lot of my independence, my mobility was being restricted. In my disability, it's kind of hard finding the investors or the capital. For example, national insurance. The benefit that we receive, it's a lifeline. And at any business that you're going to take, it's going to be a risk. We're not looking for handouts, but we want you to understand that we still need a little special care. This literally gives us a backbone that, hey, we could actually stand someday. This is the business I know it's going to be a risk. Even going through that process, I'm still dependent on national insurance. Overall, being in the program itself has put me in a place where I feel young again. I feel like anything is possible. I would say to others with disabilities, look around your community, just like you guys said in one of the modules. See what is needed in your community and go for it. Don't be afraid, just go for it.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Gale, and I'm inviting you to be a part of a journey where we open the Word of God to receive strength, to receive empowerment from the Scriptures as they have been written. Get your Bibles, get your cup of coffee or your tea, because this journey is gonna be great. This is your day of victory.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian Company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Planning the execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm your national anchor, Mukesh Lopinder.
Welcome back to the show. Well, the Grand Bahama Development Company, a subsidiary of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, is responsible for master planning land zoned for tourist, commercial, and residential use within the Lakayan area of Grand Bahama Island. Now, their goal is to connect with the Nassau market to highlight our affordable land and investment opportunities and encourage Bahamian ownership and, importantly, investment. Well, Charles Pratt joined the Grand Bahama Port Authority in May of 2000 and currently serves as Senior Manager, Sales and Commercial Development for the GPA group of companies and, of course, DevCo. He oversees all residential and commercial land sales development and the associated market. Mr. Pratt is on the rundown tonight to provide us with the latest information on land investment opportunities in Freeport to share with the residents here in the capital, so you can get up out of here where ain't no land and go to where there is a land. I call it land of milk and honey. Mr. Pratt, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Well, thank you for having me, sir, and welcome and good evening to you.
So listen, Grand Bahama, I like to call it a land of opportunity, right? I just think there's so much going on. What people see as problems and challenges, I always see as opportunity, because there's the opportunity to be able to change and make some things better and greater. Talk to us about the real estate market in Grand Bahama. How is it looking now with so much going on?
Right. So we boast of approximately $3 billion investment dollars occurring in Grand Bahama or imminent.
$3 billion?
$3 billion with a B, yeah. So you all would know, of course, about the Carnival Cruise Port. That represents 500, 600 million. You would have heard about the Six Senses Weller Development branded resort. That's happening in its first phase alone. That's about 200 million. Then what's happening with the redevelopment of the harbor, another 500 million. The shipyard and their expansion, another 500 million. Those are just the large anchor problems. And then throughout, you have the smaller multi-million-dollar investments happening. So the investor confidence has been renewed in Grand Bahama, and we've seen interest in properties increased. Right? And so we see it as part of our responsibility and brotherly love to come to Nassau to share this good news. We understand, as you indicated earlier, that land is short in Nassau. There's great demand, little supply. I want to tell you in Grand Bahama, there's a lot of supply, and we're trying to make sure that that demand should be directed to Grand Bahama, where you can make real investment for real land.
I was in Grand Bahama the other day, and as I was driving through with some colleagues in the car, and they said, listen, my goodness, look at the size of these properties in Grand Bahama. These homes are on it. I said, well, they can do that. You won't see that kind of land size here in the capital, but in Grand Bahama, you can do that. You can get a substantial piece of land at a price that's far, far less than what you would pay for it here.
Exactly. You know, we say you can get about a quarter acre of property. I know last time or a couple of years I'd come here, people say, well, that means a quarter of an acre. I say, so let's go by dimensions. You're looking at about 100 by 120. That's about 12,000 square feet. All right?
That's a good piece of property.
For $25,000.
Hold on. No, don't tell me that. That's not true.
It is true.
You can get that size property for $25,000 in Grand Bahama?
Approximately, because you have different zonings of residential property. Right. Talking about that section first. So you have single family, duplex, multifamily, high-rise.
So that $25,000 piece, where's that, by the dump?
No. Freeport is paradise, is what we call it. Come live, work, play, and learn in paradise. So
is that a pretty decent neighborhood?
Pretty decent neighborhood. I mean, Freeport is a well-planned city.
Yes, and that's what I think we could learn from Grand Bahama, is that it is organized, it is well-planned, and well-zoned.
Yes. So you wouldn't find in a residential zone subdivision a gas station, a liquor store, a church. You will find single family, single family homes.
Right.
Duplex area, you'll find duplex. And same thing with multifamily units, multifamily high-rise units. And in commercial sections, you'll find that it's properly zoned and appropriate business carrying on in those subdivisions.
Now, I'm thinking, sorry, but I don't cut you off, but I'm thinking, if I'm a Bahamian, and I see the billions of dollars of investment that are taking place in Grand Bahama, which means only one thing. In a few years, those companies are going to have lots of workers, lots of visitors. It may call for second home owners and so forth. There's going to be a rapid demand for housing, and for land. And so if you get it now, you get ahead of when it, because you know what happens, right? It's a basic commerce. If the demand increases, the price goes what? Up. Yeah.
Yes, demand increases, supply becomes limited.
Demand, yeah.
Price go up. But you're right on point. I mean, we also recognize, and we'll get into it later on in the show, that we also recognize that there will be a housing shortage in Grand Bahama, right? So the savvy or the smart investor who understands, okay, there's about $3 billion worth of investments happening now. Carnival is due to open, Brother Watson, in July. That's what, 3 months away? All right. They will be bringing, in their first year, about 2 million passengers to Freeport. Right? They have added another pair that will double that number by 2028 to 4 million. That's just the Carnival. The redevelopment of the harbor, when it's hit its full stride, will be bringing in another 2 million passengers. 6 million. 6 million people coming to the island of Grand Bahama on an annual basis. What does that mean for the economy, the impact? If you're in tourist-related business, you should be improving your product now in Grand Bahama. And we're preaching this. We're preaching this everywhere we go because we want our Bahamian brothers and sisters to take advantage of this opportunity and own your economy.
See, that's the key, because we keep talking about when it can happen for us, and it's now preparing to take off for us. And what people don't understand is that these businesses, these investments are going to spill out into the community. They're going to want to dovetail into the Bahamian product and the Bahamian businesses and into entrepreneurs. And if you are not prepared to embrace it, you will miss it.
Definitely. You know, there's a saying, the best time to invest is right now. There's also, I read somewhere, the best time to invest would have been 5 years ago. But take advantage of it now and invest now. So 5 years, you're not saying, oh, I should have invested 5 years ago. Invest now. Because you're right. I mean, supply and demand, property prices will increase. When I was here a couple of years ago, I spoke about that. Well, we have increased the prices from when it was a year, 2 years ago. And that's just how demand and supply works. My advice would always be start now, invest now. And you would see that we have several initiatives. DEFCO, the Grand Bahama Development Company, has several initiatives which empowers Bahamian and provides a pathway for them to become property owners in Freeport.
How do people access what it is that you are offering to them? Because there's one thing people will be sitting down tonight and watching and saying, oh, wow, maybe we're to buy a piece of property. I may have $30,000 in savings that I can put towards or whatever. How are you doing this? What is the process for people to get access to this?
Wonderful. So you can acquire property through the Grand Bahama Development Company 2 ways. You can obviously pay in cash. You can come and say, hey, Pratt, here's my $25,000 for my single piece of property. Our in-house legal team prepares up all the legal work, so you don't have to go to any outside law.
Really?
Yeah. We have an internal legal team that can do all that, and you get a conveyance after you go through the process. So obviously there's a vetting to ensure, you know, you're bringing us funds coming from anywhere, you know.
You've got to be able to determine the source of funding.
Oh, yeah. You go fill out all the contracts with our wonderful sales team. Let me give a shout out to them. They're in the studio here with me, giving me support. Sherelle Carter and El Sawyer.
Looking so beautiful over there.
Yeah, the administrative team, Yvette Nichols and Patrice Feaster. So you fill out that process, and I want to say within 2 weeks, you will be able to get a contract, purchase and sale agreement contract for the property land that you want. And if you're paying in cash, there is an incentivized pricing system that kicks in.
Really?
Right? Oh, yeah. Again, we're all about empowering Bahamians. So let's go with the figure of $25,000. And Brother Watson, you come to me and say, listen, I want to buy this cash for $25,000. I say, you paying cash in full? We can adjust that price for you by 20%.
Wow. Wow.
So now you're down to, what, $20,000, just about, somewhere around there, for the property, all right? Equity already, okay? So you can pay in cash, which we prefer. It's better for us, better for you. But if for whatever reason you say, okay, I don't have the full $25,000, but I love this property and I want to secure this now, you can bring as little as down as 10%, which then allows you to enter into a contract to pay the balance for that property.
So there's financing?
Yeah, well, we call it
in-house term payment arrangement. Financing me, and I always tell people, I
provide the money for you.
I'm giving you, but so
it's a payment plan.
It's a payment plan, yeah. So you would come in and you would make that payment plan. The minimum is 10%.
Wow.
And then that allows you can choose a term from 1 to 7 years at 8% interest rate.
Wow.
And when you would have completed that last payment, the property is then conveyed to you. But all in a while, you're paying on the property that you will own sometime in the future, whether it's from 1 year to 7 years. But we have that plan as well.
How do people know what's available, what a property is, what it looks like? How are they able to identify which property I want to buy?
All right, so we have a website, www.gbdevco.com, GBDEVCO. You go to that, we have a tab. And depending on where your budget is, depending on what type of property you want, you can click on that tab, you can put a price in, it brings up all the properties that fall in that price range. You can click a zoning, it brings all the properties up in that zoning. On our webpage, we're trying to enhance it even more, to make it more user-friendly, but we have that available too, so you can do that. Or you can call us at 350-9096. That goes directly into our sales office, and any of my team members will be able to answer that and answer any questions you have on becoming a property owner in Freeport, Lucas.
All right, I'm going to go to a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about a report that you recently commissioned and what the findings of that report is and why that's so significant. Also, about the confidence of Grand Bahama and why people should buy property. There may be some people sitting there saying, well, I still have memories of what happened in Dorian. And should I go, is this a good, sound investment, or am I going to be wasting my time? We'll talk about that when we come right back. Stay close. We're back after this.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting TingsyBahamas.com.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy 1 box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
To the rundown, we're having a discussion about how you can be empowered by living in Grand Bahama. The Grand Bahama Delco, really development company of Grand Bahama Port Authority, is making it easy for you to own a piece of the rock. Bahamians ought to own a piece of their rock, and this is an opportunity for you to own some good rock, some good land. I can't even call it rock because it's so big. Some good land at an affordable price. You can get it as low as $25,000 for a piece of property. And so I want to continue talking because we were talking about the confidence in the market, because a lot of people may be thinking, okay, well, you know, that's Grand Bahama. Is it worth buying property there? Because they're always in the hurricane zone, and I see the devastation there. Is it worth the investment? What do you say?
I thank you for that question, because for the past 6 years, during after 2019, then the pandemic, we have been fighting, we meaning the Grand Bahamians and those in the real estate market, especially the Grand Bahama Development Company, against the narrative that property values depreciated, right? And it kind of makes sense because supply, demand went down, so you say, okay, prices should drop. It never happened in Grand Bahama.
Wow.
You had third-party transactions, and that's transaction outside of the Grand Bahama Development Company. Sorry, I should have started that Grand Bahama Development Company is the predominant holder of land in the port area, which is 232 square miles within on the island of Grand Bahama. We have over 70,000 developable land for investors. Everything from tourist commercial right down to single-family residential. So it's safe to say that we set the trend. Our department deals in the pricing We watch what happened, watch the behavior. We also pay attention to what's happening even in the independent market. So if Brother Watson is doing a transaction with Sister Carol and they do a sale, well, we record that, we see what that is. We look at the size of the property, we make that kind of analysis, okay, yeah. And then sometimes the independent sales have different motivations. You may want to sell your property because you need cash quickly, or someone we want to buy and has a good and get a good deal on it. So we compare all of this information and we look at where our pricing is at, okay? And then that's how we determine what the pricing ought to be based on what the demand and supply look like in the market itself. We have, for 6 years, we have been pushing back against the narrative that because of what happened, all right, which was a 50 to 100 year, whatever time you want to pick, event, never happened before.
Right.
Never to that level. Will it happen again? Who knows?
Right.
But what we do know is that that has taught us a lesson. I mean, Grand Bahama from 2004, I've been there for everyone. Jane and Francis. Francis was the eye-opener.
Right.
Jane came 10 days after. Then Wilma. Then Matthew. Then Dorian. Right. So if Grand Bahama is anything, we are a set of resilient people.
That is true.
Yep.
That is true.
We're a set of resilient people, and what it has done is made us that much stronger in how we occupy, God said, until he comes. So our building and development services, and props to our building and development services, we have made recommendations on how we ought to build. We can't pick up Grand Bahama or the Bahamas for that matter and move it out of the hurricane belt. That can't happen. So what do? Do you then go and live under a rock? No. You say, how do I make it in a hurricane belt? So I have to build better. I have to build back better. Right? And so we have been encouraging and providing guidelines to the would-be investor. If you want to live near the coastline or on areas that may have been impacted, this one time with flooding, here's what we recommend that how you should build. And it's on this positive message that we see individuals now say, makes sense. Let me just go and build this way. And I can live here. Right? So every part of the world is affected with something outside of our control. There is existential threats wherever you go. You have to determine how you're going to live with these threats. And that's what it is. We live in an imperfect world, and that's just the reality of things, right? So we've seen renewed investor confidence in Grand Bahama.
Let's talk about some of these areas where, and describe the kind of environment so people know what they're about. I see you have your Arden Forest Unit 3, Track 8.
Okay.
Describe that area.
All right, so Arden Forest Unit 3, Track A is in the Lukai area on Midshipman Road. Midshipman Road is a main arterial corridor that goes east and west. I'm trying to give a land reference that everybody would recognize. I mean, back in the day, there used to be a disco known as Studio 69. That's on Midshipman Road, right? There used to be a hotel way back in the day known as Victoria Inn.
Yes, people know that. People know that.
What else on Midshipman Road? I can't think of anything else that would jog anyone's memory. But Midshipman Road goes past the Gardens of the Groves. If people don't know what that is, the Gardens of the Grove is a famous touristic spot in the garden, you know. So that's where Arden Forest is located. And what you're seeing is a bunch of commercial properties that DEFCO has in those areas where they're developing opportunities for commercial ventures.
So people want to do a lot of commercial ventures. This will be a good prime spot for that.
Yeah, Arden Forest, Bell Channel. We have a promotional video out of our Track B, which is literally a stone's throw away from the hotel. So it's on Seahorse Road. It's a 4-acre track which has beach views, beach view rather.
That's a Bahama Reef Yacht and Country Club.
From Track B, 4.7 acres commercial property. And then you mentioned the commission report. In recent times, meaning since the development of the Carnival Cruise Port and the Six Senses well development occurring, DEFCO commissioned a report from Ernst & Young and from Ed Stone Associates, or EDSA Spatial Planners. We identified 4 strategic locations in close proximity to these two anchor projects, which represents $750 million just happening in Lukai alone.
Wow.
And we had them do this report to tell us what is the best and optimum use for these key areas. given what is happening. And those 4 key areas represent approximately 500 acres of land.
Wow.
Okay? A lot of that property is along Sussex Drive. Sussex Drive is the main road that comes off a Grand Bahama Highway and goes into the Celebration Key, the Carnival Cruise Port.
Wow.
The Grand Bahama Development Company owns land on either side of that Sussex Drive. And so we had, naturally, that area planned. We said, look at this area. What can we pitch it? Put here, given what Carnival has done all around the world? How has their investment impacted those regions, that island, wherever they were? What have they done? And so that report was commissioned, I want to say, first quarter of last year. We got all of the analysis and the report back completed in November of this year. So we're here in November last year. So we're here in Nassau to talk about what that report has revealed in terms of what type of investments ought to be done on the properties in close proximity to these anchor developments, when the investment should be made, and what you can look forward to. And so that report is what we're revealing in our meeting that we're having here in Nassau at the Co-Access Suite, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, on One West Plaza.
Correct.
On Thursday at 6 p.m.
Correct.
We did it a year ago when we launched the satellite office, so we're back here now with our theme, Rediscover Land Investments in Freeport, Lucaya 2.0.
And that's tomorrow at 6, that's Thursday at 6
Thursday at 6 at the Co-Access Suite, and invitations have gone out. And
people don't want to know what that report says.
Yeah, right. So now, obviously, we can't host everyone. Right. So, but what we will do is we will have it live stream, and that information will be blasted out between now and Thursday, for sure, for those who want to watch it.
That's a positive thing, and the reason why I said it is because you're actually going to get to understand, okay, this is what needs to happen here.
Yes.
So that you have a better chance of having success with your investment.
Exactly. Exactly, and that's why we did the report. DEFCO spent close to $100,000 to do that report. Why? Wow. Because we wanted our Bahamian people, brothers and sisters, to invest now, to invest in what we have researched, so that you can be successful. For you, for your children, for your children's children. Now is our time. We want foreign direct investment, but I would prefer Bahamians to invest in our economy.
And that is key, because we're always talking about what the other people are investing in, what other people are doing. Here is the opportunity now for us to be able to take a part and take hold of what's going on.
And you're so right, because you know the first thing they can say, see, y'all let the people come here and get all the investment, and y'all didn't do anything for us. Well, listen, we're doing it. We have done it. We're giving you the information. Invest now. Call our office, 350-9096. Speak with any of our salespeople, and we will tell you exactly how you become an owner.
I didn't sneak a piece of property here that I know, but this is Fortune Bay.
Fortune Bay,
Lord.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. That's a good place.
Yeah, it is.
We all don't know that's the rich and famous area. You know? It's one of the up-class area, Fortune Bay. So you have a diverse amount of property for every sector.
For every sector. For every sector, for every pocket.
Explorers Bay, Voyager Bay.
Yeah, these are all commercial properties you're calling. I want to say, and this is a very important point, that DEFCO has always retained the pricing level to fit the disposable income levels in the Bahamas. Part of our mandate is to ensure that we always have affordable property for our people. Always. We have done, I mean, you read the little bio where it told you about the housing. This goes back 20 years. I mean, I know I look like I'm only 21, but I've been around, Brother Watson. From Chesapeake to Lincoln Park to Heritage, all of these are affordable housing communities that were started and have been successful through the Grand Bahama Development Company. And so I'm here to say that we're here to make sure that our Bahamian people are empowered through land ownership.
I'll give you the final thought and a final comment as to why is this important for Bahamians to access? And why would the port see it important to be able to help? And people can say, the obvious thing, oh, is getting money for properties owned, but you could find other ways to do with this property. But you're allowing opportunities for Bahamians to be able to access affordable. And when we talk about property, I mean, it's hard to find in the capital anything at $23,000, $25,000, $30,000. You can't find nothing here costing that anything that's decent. But here it is, and that's what Bahamians need to begin thinking, diversifying. Stop thinking only Nassau. You have Grand Bahama to move to. It's a developing island. It's coming back bigger and better than before. We talked about the billions of dollars in investment. It could be the future for you. So if you're talking about, I can't find a property here in Nassau that's affordable, consider moving to a different island where you can still work, still have raise your family in a more peaceful environment, I might add to that. But it makes sense. Why this investment for Bahamians?
When you think about safety and security, you always think about home.
Yeah.
Right? And fortunately or unfortunately, some of us pay rent. And some of us pay rent for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Imagine that being paid on property where you have equity, where you're building ownership, right? So we believe that you are empowered, you build confidence when you own. And when you own property. This is a way for us to ensuring that we make available affordable properties for our Bahamian people. It is important because we all have families. We all want to ensure that these families have generational wealth building prospects. And so we do it through ownership in land. Land, as you know, is the single largest investment anyone would ever make in a lifetime. And if you are living in a country and you don't at least own a piece of it, right? So here's an opportunity for that to happen. It's a start, okay? And I think it's a good start for every young and middle-aged and old Bahamians to own property in the Bahamas.
Is it available only to Bahamians or is it available to visitors as well?
Well, we love the foreign direct investment dollars, so we don't turn it away, of course. But it's certainly available. We try to keep it affordable Bahamian. The price that the foreign direct investor pays is different than what the Bahamian would pay.
Obviously, one would think this is the right move quickly because with all of these developments, we started out saying coming on stream is going to bring more people back to the island. Is this an incentive designed to bring people to Grand Bahama?
Well, yes, it's the short answer. But to speak to that point even further, you know, even now, the Carnival Cruise Port are advertising like crazy. They're having job fairs all over the place.
Correct. Trying to find people.
The Grand Bahama Shipyard, all kinds. And so we're seeing it. We're seeing the fact that, and the Minister for Grand Bahama, in every speech she gives, that's why I'm telling my people, come back home. Because you know there was a great migration from Grand Bahama to the other family islands to find, I want to say, viable living. Because they weren't the jobs sufficient. But now the jobs are back. So Grand Bahamians, come back home.
Makes sense. Charles Pride, it's a pleasure having you on.
Pleasure being
I'm
here.
excited. I can
come to Grand Bahama.
I go onto the website. I'm there enough times.
Yes.
So I'm going to check the website out and see what we have available. But thank you for coming. All the best.
Thank you for having me.
Meeting on Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you. That does it for the rundown. Be sure to stay locked on the ZNS network for the Bahamas tonight at 11. It's the final newscast in the country with the latest news and information with that guy who just walked past me, Royston Jones. He's here getting ready for the 11 o'clock news. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone.
Clint Watson has been the trusted voice of journalism for over 2 decades. He is your first choice for hard-hitting discussions, your best choice for current affairs issues and investigative journalism. It's time to start the journey of relentless journalism. It's time to start the journey of